starting as the hand behind the scenes in Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 White. Meditarumi gave Uehara a pack of biscuits, which made Uehara depressed, but he couldn't say much. But the biscuits in his hand were snatched away, which made Uehara feel even worse. Uehara Naraku walked towards the homeless boy who had snatched the biscuits. Perhaps because he was too hungry, he chewed a few bites and swallowed them hastily. Hey. Uehara Naraku frowned, wanting to say something, but didn't know how to start. After all, he didn't lack biscuits. He was a wealthy man with 100 million detonating talismans. I'm done. The homeless boy hurriedly stuffed the biscuit crumbs into his mouth, curled up into a ball, and carefully raised his head to look at Uehara. Sorry, I've been hungry for 3 days, and I'm out of biscuits. If you want to beat me or kill me, it's up to you. Uehara Naraku saw the delicate and soft beauty on that dirty face, and the 4 words beauty embryo subconsciously appeared in Uehara's mind. Are all the ninjas so good looking? Even a street kid looks so cute. Uehara Naraku saw the street kid lower her head again, and decided to forgive her. He stood beside her and whispered, "Hey, what's your name? Are you hungry now?" "My name is Bay." The street kid shrank, and shook his head, hugging his knees tightly. Maybe this little guy's really afraid of being beaten? Uehara Naraku looked up at the sky. What luck today. He worked hard to find Bay in the land of water for 3 days, but he didn't find any trace of Bay. He happened to meet Meditarumi, who gave him a pack of biscuits, which lured out the hungry Bay. In fact, Bay had been hiding here, but he was afraid that the ninjas would find him. He didn't dare to show his head until he saw Meditarumi and the 2 ninjas leave. Uehara Naraku looked at the homeless child squatting in front of him and wanted to confirm it again in his heart. Well, do you have ice escape bloodline? It means that you can turn into ice or something. Bay's body trembled, and the whole person climbed up and stumbled a few steps and quickly rushed into the alleys in the town. Because he knew that in this country, people with bloodline are evil, and Uehara Naraku might be someone who advocates the elimination of bloodline. Hey, don't run. Uehara Naraku had already determined Bay's identity in his heart, and hurriedly chased after him, grabbed Bay's collar, frowned and whispered, "Are you just thinking about running away?" Bay lowered his head, and hesitated for a while, and whispered, then, "If I can pick up food tomorrow, can I give it back to you? It may take the day after tomorrow or the day after tomorrow to find food. I may be able to find food in about 3 days. I don't want food." Uehara Naraku's face was a little ugly. Bay looked at him cautiously and whispered, "But I secretly saw you looking for food near the garbage dump for a day." "I didn't come to the garbage dump to find food." Uehara Naraku looked a little helpless. Looking at the dirty Bay in front of him, he said in a deep voice, "I came to find you. I need your ice escape ninjutsu. It's the ability of yours that can condense ice and snow." Bay looked up curiously, frowned, and asked softly, "But I don't know. What can I do? Let me think about it." Uehara Naraku touched his chin and thought for a while, then put forward his suggestion. "Well, you can help me make ice juice in the summer." A light flashed in Bay's eyes, and he grabbed the corner of Uehara's clothes and whispered, "Then shall we look for food together in the garbage dump in the future?" Uehara Naraku. Damn, is he going to get along with the food in the garbage dump? Uehara Naraku suppressed his helplessness, patted Bay's shoulder, sighed and said, "We won't go to the garbage dump to find food." "No, we don't need to go to the garbage dump to find food. You will follow me in the future. I guarantee you will have delicious food and spicy drinks." "Yeah." Bay nodded seriously, tugged at Uehara's clothes, and whispered, "Then, where are we going to find food now?" Uehara Naraku rubbed his cheeks and put on a gentle face. "Anyway, just follow me and stop talking nonsense." Bay covered his lips subconsciously. Although the 2 are of the same age, Uehara Naraku still feels that the communication between him and Bay is a little bit, maybe because he accepted the cookies donated by Meditarumi before, which led Bay to always think that Uehara and himself are the same kind. When Bay saw Uehara Naraku sitting on a rock by the sea, holding a new homemade fishing rod in his hand. Fishing leisurely, Bei's eyes flashed with surprise, and he praised, "You can actually fish. Great. Basic skills, no need to praise." Uehara Naraku's expression was wooden, and he felt a little strange in his heart. He brought the current Bei to see Momochi's abuser, which felt a little strange. The fishing line suddenly shook violently. Bei looked at Uehara, who was stable and motionless, gently pushed Uehara's shoulder, and urged, "Uehara, the fish is hooked. Slow down, wait a little longer." Uehara Naraku smiled, and shook his head. Just as he was about to talk about the pitiful fishing knowledge he had learned from Xiaonan, he saw a cold light in his eyes. Clang! A shuriken suddenly shot through the fishing line, and even the residual power was not reduced, deeply embedded in the rock next to it. The appearance of the shuriken made Bei's mind flustered. He wanted to retreat nervously, but out of concern for his friend, he grabbed Uehara's sleeve tightly and whispered, "Uehara, it's a ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. Let's go." "No, he's looking for me." Uehara Naraku patted Bei's arm, signaling him to calm down, and looked at the broken fishing line with regret, and whispered, "Zabuza, you let the fish I wanted to catch run away, but you have to pay the price." Humph. Behind a rock, someone snorted dully, and threw a scroll towards Uehara Naraku's position. Uehara Naraku took it in his hand, opened it and glanced at it. There was a map of the land of water drawn on it, with a red line scribbled on it. It was a route. At the end of the route, there was a red circle, which should be the final destination of this route. Zabuza Momochi appeared from behind a rock, looked at Naraku Uehara, and said in a cold voice, "This is the information you want. Tomorrow morning, the person you are looking for will lead a group of ninja chasing troops to the northern outpost of the Land of Water." Naraku Uehara nodded and asked his own question, "Is this their route? Are you sure?" Zabuza Momochi explained with disdain, "This is the territory of our Land of Water. The ninja chasing troops will definitely choose the fastest route. This is basic common sense in the ninja world. A ninja from his own country even has to choose the safest route in his own country. Isn't this ninja village too useless?" After seeing Naraku Uehara put away the scroll, Zabuza Momochi looked at Bei beside him, and accused Uehara in a cold voice, "Kit, we agreed on a place and a secret transaction. You brought this little girl here. Aren't you worried that she will leak the secret?" Chapter 27 The Dead Are Greatest. "Don't worry, Bei won't leak the secret." Uehara Naraku waved his hand, glanced at Bei, who was trembling with fear, chuckled at Zabuza and said, "Zabuza, your observation skills are also very poor. Bei looks so cute, he must be a boy. Even if it goes to hell, Bei is still a man." Zabuza Momochi glanced at the thin Bei, and said in a deep voice, "HMPH, you can rest assured. This little guy has the ice release bloodline. He will definitely not be an ordinary person in the future. He will become a ninja sooner or later. Do you know Bei? Although the Blood Mist Village cannot tolerate the existence of bloodline ninjas, for ninjas like us, bloodline ninjas are extremely precious tools. Even if this kid only has the ice release bloodline in his body, it is no exception." Zabuza Momochi cursed his own Mizukage in his heart, and continued in a deep voice, "At that time, this kid's ice release burst killed many people. After the village found out, I was responsible for dealing with him. Naturally, I have all his information. The Mizukage is still here, and the Hidden Mist Village cannot protect him. The upper level ninjas in the village can only turn a blind eye to him and let him wander in the water country." Ha ha ha. Uehara Naraku laughed a few times, looked at the handsome young man beside him, and said in a low voice, "Well, it seems that my luck is not bad. HMPH, I hope your luck can continue." Zabuza Momochi turned around and was about to leave. He didn't know what he was thinking about, and he added, "Finally, I'll remind you, don't underestimate the guy you're looking for. When the previous owner of Samehada faced him, he had no power to fight back. You don't have to worry about that." Uehara Naraku looked at Zabuza's leaving figure, and shouted at him, "Hey, Zabuza, if what you want to do doesn't succeed, you can come to me in the future. At least you can save your life." "Humph, idiot." Zabuza Momochi cursed Uehara in a low voice. According to Zabuza Momochi's understanding of Uehara Naraku, he thought that this boy must not have any intersection with Hoshigaki Kisame, and Uehara might even be killed. This time, the mission led by Hoshigaki Kisame was to capture the invading Konoha ninja Hatake Kakashi. In order to ensure that everything was foolproof, Hoshigaki Kisame took away several powerful ninjas in the village. From tomorrow onwards, the defense of the Hidden Mist village will be unprecedentedly empty, and Zabuza Momochi will have the courage to implement his plan to assassinate the fourth Mizukage. In the north of the Land of Water, in order to find the trace of Uchiha Obito, Hatake Kakashi went to the Land of Water alone. He judged that Obito must be lurking in this closed country for revenge. Unexpectedly, Kakashi had not found Obito before he was found by the Hidden Mist village ninjas entrenched in the Land of Water. Facing Kakashi, who has the Sharingan known as the Copy Ninja, the Hidden Mist ninjas did not dare to be careless and quickly asked their superiors for support. This is really a bad start. While Hatake Kakashi was still racking his brains over what he should do next, the mysterious masked man also got the news of Kakashi, and his head hurt even more. The mysterious masked man wanted to target Uehara Naraku, and used Kakashi as bait to lure out the spy Karen trained by the Land of Locks. Unexpectedly, his goal has not been achieved yet, and the bait has jumped out by itself. Fortunately, the mysterious masked man imprisoned Hualing, and this female spy ninja did not know the news of Kakashi. As long as the operation is done properly, there should be no trouble. It's just that the four forces formed a perfect closed loop. Uehara Naraku wants to find Hoshigaki Kisame and bring him back to the Akatsuki organization. Hoshigaki Kisame wants to find Hatake Kakashi and bring him back to the Hidden Mist village to interrogate Konoha's intelligence. Hatake Kakashi wants to find Uchiha Obito and bring him back to Konoha village to uncover the truth. Uchiha Obito wants to find Uehara Naraku and let him fall into darkness. Most of these people are just pawns. Uchiha Obito believes that everyone is a pawn he controls, including Uehara Naraku. Uehara Naraku also believes that everyone is a pawn he guides, even Uchiha Obito. The fight between the two of them depends on who stands on a higher level. The next day, Uehara Naraku followed the route of Hoshigaki Kisame and wanted to rush to the northern outpost of the Hidden Mist in the Land of Water to ambush. Uehara did not take Haku with him, but instead let him stay in the daimyo's mansion in the Land of Water. When Zabuza Momochi failed to assassinate the Mizukage and was wanted by the Hidden Mist village, Haku took Zabuza with him. The northern outpost of the Hidden Mist village was destined to be a bit lively. There were 4 ninja teams led by a Jonin stationed in the outpost all year round, with a total of 16 people, 1 Jonin captain plus 3 Chunins, and 1 Chunin captain plus 3 Genins. If there was only 1 Jonin, it would be difficult to catch Hatake Kakashi, because this Jonin captain of the Hidden Mist had seen how powerful Hatake Kakashi was, and would not take the initiative to give himself up. However, if Kakashi was just allowed to escape, it would not be in line with the temperament of the Hidden Mist ninja. This Jonin of the Hidden Mist implemented the wartime strategy very seriously, leading his subordinates to entangle and besiege Kakashi, waiting for the reinforcement sent by the village. This is Sharingan Kakashi. Hatake Kakashi is the most sought after ninja in Konoha in recent years. If they catch him, they will be able to collect a large amount of Konoha intelligence, which will be of great benefit to their dream of defeating Konoha in the Hidden Mist village. Team 13, take charge of the left side. Understood. Team 15, take charge of the right side. Understood. Team 20, take charge of the rear to check for leaks and fill in the gaps. Understood. Team 11, all of you, attack with me. If you encounter Kakashi using Shuriken to entangle, remember, you must never look directly into his Sharingan. Yes, Captain. The 4 teams of the Hidden Mist village are still entangled with Hatake Kakashi in this area. Their actions delayed Kakashi's escape, forcing Kakashi to find a way to fight back and get rid of this group of Mist ninjas. While Hatake Kakashi was hiding his plan, Uehara Naraku had already arrived in this area and quickly discovered their traces using the sky dance technique. The young ninja landed in front of many Mist ninjas. Under the surprised and vigilant eyes of many Mist ninjas, Uehara put on an innocent smile and asked, "Are you interested in playing a game of cards with me?" After hesitating for a second, the Mist ninja clenched the ninja sword in his hand and ordered his subordinates loudly, according to the original plan, "Don't let this kid get in the way of our business, kill him." Decisive killing is the true nature of the Mist ninja. Following the order of the captain of the Mist ninjas did not hesitate and threw more than a dozen shurikens at Uehara Naraku. Wind style, wind barrier. A wind wall blocked all the incoming shurikens. Uehara Naraku's smile did not diminish on his face. He slowly closed his palms and continued in a low voice, although you were very unreasonable to me first, I still choose to forgive you, because the dead are the greatest. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. People following. The dead are the greatest. After Uehara Naraku said this, the faces of the Mist Ninjas were very interesting. The wine-style ninjutsu that the little guy in front of them used to block the shuriken was indeed strange, but he was only one person, and he was confident that he could kill their 4 teams. What an arrogant kid. Whether it was Hatake Kakashi who was hiding in the dark or the Mist Ninjas, their first thought was that Uehara Naraku's attitude was too arrogant. Even a well-known ninja like Kakashi did not dare to charge into this organized Mist Ninja team head-on, but the little kid who was speaking was provoking him in person. Was he looking for death? Hatake Kakashi poked his head out slightly and quietly watched Uehara Naraku, who was putting his hands together to make a seal. His mind was instantly attracted. Uehara Naraku was slowly making a seal. He could see his movements clearly without using the Sharingan, but the order of the seal was something that even Kakashi had never seen before. Could it be that the little kid was going to use a ninjutsu that he had never heard of? Hatake Kakashi immediately focused his attention and carefully used the Sharingan to memorize the order of Uehara Naraku's hand seals, trying to secretly copy Uehara Naraku's ninjutsu. Uehara Naraku didn't know all this, but he didn't care. After casually making a bunch of messy hand seals, his palm suddenly stretched out to the sky, looked at a group of Mist Ninjas and smiled. See you again, if you are lucky. If you can survive. Lightning release, 10,000 thunder prison induction. Or thunderstorm floated around Uehara, and lightning suddenly rushed out of the thunderstorm, scattered and fell on the heads of the Mist Ninjas. Several Mist Ninjas were instantly struck by lightning and turned into charcoal. After the other Mist Ninjas dodged the first lightning, the second lightning, the third lightning. Lightning fell one after another. One of the Mist Ninjas didn't have time to dodge and defend, and was struck by a lightning, and fell to the ground, and then he never had a chance to stand up again. The frequency and speed of lightning attacks were not something they could easily deal with. The Mist Ninjas finally realized the predicament of being in the thunderstorm. It was difficult for them to escape, and they didn't even have enough time to form a seal to defend. In the crisis, human nature suddenly emerged. The captain of the Jonin jumped to the side of a subordinate, grabbed his body, threw him into the air, and blocked 2 lightning bolts. His subordinate turned into a charcoal. After seeing this scene, the other captains of the Chunin grabbed the bodies of their subordinates and companions as shields for their own escape. If it weren't for the high frequency of lightning attacks, the ninjas of the Mist Ninja Corps might even start a civil war of fratricide. Uehara Naraku looked at the Mist Ninjas and the thunderstorm, and the smile on his mouth gradually disappeared. In the face of the threat to life, the Mist Ninjas' performance was really bad, far worse than the ninjas of the Hidden Rain Village. The blood mist policy of the Hidden Rain Village, which did not prohibit fratricide and even encouraged it for many years, finally showed its evil results. No one dared to trust their companions easily. Uehara Naraku fought the most comfortable battle. He didn't need to use the second powerful skill. He just threw cards casually and completed a one-sided massacre. Hatake Kakashi, who was watching all this, was sweating profusely. The young man used only one ninjutsu to kill 4 Mist Ninja teams, including an elite team led by a Jonin. However, Hatake Kakashi was a little happy in his heart. Not only did he escape the entanglement of the Mist Ninja, but he also copied a powerful lightning release ninjutsu. It just so happened that Hatake Kakashi himself was best at lightning release ninjutsu. Advanced Mission 3, kill 10 formal Chunins, 10 tenths, reward 1000 life energy points, reward 1000 chakra energy points, reward 1000 gold coins, reward life energy recovery increased by 100%. Reward chakra energy recovery increased by 100%. Advanced Mission 4, kill 10 formal Jonins, 1/10. The reward is unknown. Uehara Naraku was surprised to see the rewards for completing Advanced Mission 3. In addition to the regular life energy, chakra energy and gold coin rewards, there were additional life energy recovery and chakra energy recovery. Life energy 2201, standard 10003000 for a Jonin. Chakra energy 3250, standard 30001000 for a shadow level. Life recovery 4./second chakra recovery 3./second remaining gold coins. 2070 equipment, Seraph's Embrace, increases 1400 points of chakra energy, increases skill cooldown reduction by 20%, and reduces chakra consumption by 20%. After observing his own attributes, Uehara Naraku breathed a sigh of relief. In addition to the increase in physical strength and stamina, his chakra energy exceeded 3000 points, and he finally had a place to survive in this ninja world. In addition to these regular rewards, there are also life energy recovery and chakra energy recovery, especially the increase in chakra energy recovery, which allows Uehara Naraku to use the sky dance technique and mayfly technique without restrictions. At least it is safe and worry-free. All that was left was to wait for Hoshigaki Kisame to arrive. Uehara Naraku thought of several ways to recruit Hoshigaki Kisame, but he was worried about his loyalty to the mysterious masked man, and Uehara didn't want to be easily exposed. In the end, Uehara Naraku decided to seriously injure Hoshigaki Kisame first, and then forcibly bring Kisame back to the Land of Rain. This would be considered a completed mission, right? Outside the forest, a shark-faced youth led a Miss Ninja chase force of more than 20 people to the foot of the mountain. In addition to them, a brown-haired woman also led 3 ninja teams, including a powerful reconnaissance ninja. Ao. Ao is the only Byakugan bloodline who is not from the Hyuga clan. Because of a coincidence during the war, he obtained a Byakugan, and thus became the ninja with the strongest reconnaissance ability in the Mist Village. The high-end combat power of the Mist Village, Terumi, and Hoshigaki Kisame appeared here together, which shows their importance to Hatake Kakashi and the Mist Village's thirst for information about Konoha. Hoshigaki Kisame glanced at the mountain and said softly, "Senior Ao, let's start. We are just a bunch of guys who can only speak with ninja swords. I'll trouble you to search for the enemy. Understood? Byakugan, open." Ao suddenly put his fingers together, opened the Byakugan vision, and carefully searched the mountains and forests for traces, looking for human figures. After a while, King had finished the search. His face suddenly turned ugly, and he said in a deep voice, "All the ninjas at the northern outpost have been killed. There are still 2 living people on this mountain. One of them is a short kid, and the other is Hatake Kakashi. He is in the eastern forest. It seems we are lucky." Hoshigaki Kisame took off the Samehada sword on his back, looked at Terumi Medi and said, "Then we will capture Hatake Kakashi next, and your excellency Terumi Medi will assist us in the encirclement. Is this arrangement okay?" "Whatever." Terumi Medi waved her hand indifferently, covered her lips and chuckled. "Our goal is just to catch the copy ninja. It doesn't matter who is responsible for the attack, and who is responsible for the encirclement. Then please." Hoshigaki Kisame jumped into the forest without any pretense, dragging the Samehada sword in his hand, and the pursuit ninja troops rushed in closely behind him. Terumi Medi led his subordinates to set up a blockade along Kakashi's position in the forest, forcing Kakashi to move towards Hoshigaki Kisame. As for Uehara Naraku in the forest, none of them cared about him. There was only one person who really cared about Uehara Naraku's strength. Chapter 29, Spiritual Art. A time-space vortex appeared at the foot of the mountain, and the figure of the mysterious masked man was revealed. A moment later, a very cute girl jumped out of the time vortex and appeared beside him. The mysterious masked man glanced at the Miss Ninjas jumping in the mountains and forests, and then turned to look at the girl beside him. "The kid will be beaten seriously in a while. You must save him at the risk of your life. Do you understand?" "Yes." The girl lowered her head and continued softly, "As long as I make him fall in love with me, you promise to let my hometown go, and let me meet Kakashi." "Of course." The mysterious masked man tapped his arm, and said in a gloomy voice, "I never break my promises, but it is really incomprehensible that there are women who like a useless ninja like Kakashi. Mr. Kakashi is not a waste." The girl bit her lip slightly with her pearly teeth. She was obviously afraid of the masked man beside her, but she was still trying hard to muster up the courage to refute his words. The mysterious masked man snorted and ignored her. Of course, the mysterious masked man would not tell Karin that Hatake Kakashi was also in the forest and was being hunted by a group of mist ninjas. Moreover, this time the crisis was not like the past, and someone would come to save him in time. In the forest, the mist ninja chasing team led by Hoshigaki Kisame had just entered the forest and was still tracking Hatake Kakashi's position in the direction of his direction. Snap. A card was nailed to the tree. Just as many ninjas were alert to avoid and look at the source of the card, another card flew over. The target of this card was Hoshigaki Kisame, the leader of the chasing ninja team. Even if Kisame dodged the attack of the card in time, he was inevitably rubbed on the face by the card, leaving a long and narrow wound, and a few drops of blood slowly flowed out. The remaining power of the card was not reduced, and it actually cut off a wild tree as thick as a bowl. Hoshigaki Kisame's face was still very calm. He waved at his subordinates and said, Is someone targeting me? Go tell Her Excellency Terumi Mei that I have some small matters to deal with here. You go and help Her Excellency Terumi Mei capture the target. Yes, Captain. The Kirigakure ninja squad accepted the order in a deep voice, and each of them jumped into the distance, not worrying about their captain encountering the enemy at all. Since Hoshigaki Kisame took over the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon, they have become Kisame's subordinates, and have witnessed the horror of the Kirigakure monsters with their own eyes. So far, when Hoshigaki Kisame led them to perform tasks, there has never been any failure. What they didn't know was that Hoshigaki Kisame had long been a subordinate of the mysterious masked man standing behind the Mizukage. On the surface, Hoshigaki Kisame received the task of capturing Kakashi. In fact, what Hoshigaki Kisame really wanted to do was to seriously injure Uehara Naraku, the more severely the better, and then let a little girl rescue him. Although Hoshigaki Kisame didn't understand why the mysterious masked man gave him such a strange task, as long as it was a task, he would carry it out firmly. Come out, kid. Hoshigaki Kisame showed a mouthful of shark teeth and put on a terrifying smile. Kid, I haven't fought with all my strength for a long time. If you can let me have fun today, I can choose a comfortable way for you to die. Hoshigaki Kisame. A young man's figure appeared in front of Kisame, his body floating in the air, his fingertips deftly turning several cards. Uehara Naraku looked down at Hoshigaki Kisame and said softly, well, although we all know the result, we still have to go through the process. I invite you to join a justice organization that maintains peace in the ninja world. Are you interested? Of course not. Hoshigaki Kisame smiled contemptuously, put down the Samehada sword in his hand, and said coldly, Kid, I'm a ninja who likes killing. That's really unfortunate. I'm a peace-loving person. Uehara's eyes narrowed slightly, and the cards in his hand suddenly shot towards Hoshigaki Kisame on the ground. Each card was so fast that it even brushed through the air and created waves of air. Because of the reward blessing of Advanced Mission 3, Uehara's body has been greatly strengthened, and the power and speed of the card throwing are far greater than before. Hoshigaki Kisame is even faster. When he saw the card was shot, he dodged the attack of the card, but one of the cards suddenly exploded like a detonating tag. Hoshigaki Kisame was blown away before he could prepare. Not only were his clothes destroyed by the explosion, but he also had several wounds on his body. However, Samehada gave him a strong self-healing ability, and soon Kisame's injuries recovered. Hey, how do you feel? Uehara Naraku flew around in the air and whispered, if you die, our organization will have to find a suitable person again. If you want to kill me, these are far from enough. Hoshigaki Kisame responded coldly, and stabbed the Samehada sword in his hand into the ground. He also completely recognized the difficulty of the enemy. If Uehara had been flying in the air, it would undoubtedly make his attack much more difficult. At least his physical advantage and Samehada's ability to absorb chakra would be difficult to play out. Then change the terrain. Water style, great explosion water wave. Hoshigaki Kisame quickly put his hands together to seal, and a huge wave gushed out of his mouth. The waves under his feet were almost at the same height as Uehara Naraku in the air. Then Kisame's movements did not stop at all, and he kept putting his hands together to seal, and bit his own finger. Water style, water same bullet technique. A water shark appeared beside Hoshigaki Kisame, wrapped his body, and jumped out of the water, and flexibly rushed towards Uehara Naraku in the air. This guy actually came up with this method to let himself attack the enemy in the air. As long as he can knock Uehara Naraku down from the air, he can immediately gain an advantage with his powerful physical skills. When Hoshigaki Kisame approached Uehara Naraku, he saw Uehara's face was panicked, and he was making hand seals, and even one of the hand seals was not quite standard. HMPH, kid, you made the wrong hand seal for the summoning technique. Hoshigaki Kisame sneered, and suddenly exerted force on his wrist, and was about to grab Uehara's neck, and bring him to the ground. Ninjutsu, summoning technique. However, with a low shout from the young ninja, a tall monster appeared among them. The monster suddenly threw out the iron anchor in his hand, hitting Hoshigaki Kisame's body accurately, dragging him down again. Hoshigaki Kisame only felt an irresistible force, and he fell from the air, and returned to the lake he created with the monster. After Kisame reacted, he finally saw what the monster summoned by the little ghost looked like. A monster that was almost 3 times his height. His whole body was tightly blocked by iron armor, only his 2 eyes were glowing yellow, and he held a huge anchor in his hand, and the chain at the bottom of the anchor was tightly connected to his body. What surprised Kisame Hoshigaki was that this monster could do the same as him. Not only could it breathe freely in the water, but it could also move without any hindrance. Uehara Naraku clasped his hands together and landed around the lake. He chuckled and said, "Mr. Kisame, let me introduce you. This is the opponent I specially prepared for you in the water, the Deep Sea Titan Nautilus. A new week. Please recommend and reward." Chapter 30. From today on, you are the Hoshigaki Kisame of the Akatsuki organization. Hoshigaki Kisame had never seen such a strange summoning beast as the Deep Sea Titan. He could only stare at the huge anchor carefully and vigilantly to avoid being hit by the anchor again. After experiencing the attack of the anchor just now, Hoshigaki Kisame has personally felt how terrible the power attached to it is. As a member of the Hoshigaki clan, Kisame's physical fitness is far superior to that of ordinary people, but it is far behind that of the Deep Sea Titan. The speed looks clumsy. Hoshigaki Kisame grabbed the Samehada sword and glanced at the Deep Sea Titan waving the anchor. A light flashed in the shark's eyes. Good opportunity. I saw Hoshigaki Kisame in the water rushing towards Uehara's summoning beast like an arrow from a string. The Samehada sword in his hand flourished, and the handle suddenly extended into a chain that wrapped around the neck of the Deep Sea Titan. The sea is boundless. A dull voice came from underwater. Just when Hoshigaki Kisame was still a little surprised, he saw the Deep Sea Titan lift his foot. The iron nails on it were clearly visible, and then the huge foot stepped hard on the bottom of the water. Hoshigaki Kisame instantly felt a tremor in the water, as if there was an earthquake. The waves surged outward under the force of this vibration, and he was blown away with his sword. Uehara Naraku looked at Hoshigaki Kisame after he was frustrated, and smiled at him and said, "Hey, Mr. Kisame, are you having fun? If you figure it out, you can tell me the answer directly, so that you can survive." "Huh, naive kid." Hoshigaki Kisame wiped the blood foam from the corner of his mouth stubbornly, but his face became extremely solemn. The attack from the Deep Sea Titan just now was not pleasant, and his internal organs were also damaged. Originally, he thought that this mission was just to teach a little kid a lesson, but he didn't expect that after the battle, he was seriously injured. Before fighting with the real enemy, Hoshigaki Kisame no longer dared to hold back and hesitate. He quickly put his hands together and made a seal. His palm suddenly slapped on the water. Water style. 5 sharks. 5 water-style sharks quickly appeared in the water and swam towards the Deep Sea Titan, opening their mouths to bite the armor on its body. But their teeth were not sharp enough, and they were all smashed into water by the anchor in a moment. Every time a water shark was smashed, a new shark would appear next to Hoshigaki Kisame, swarming around the Deep Sea Titan. Over and over again, regenerated water sharks were killed one after another. Hoshigaki Kisame's face became more and more ugly. It seemed that his ninjutsu, which had always been successful, had met its nemesis. This ninjutsu was originally intended to save chakra to torture the enemy, but now it seemed to be wasting his own chakra in vain. Samehada, it's time to attack. Hoshigaki Kisame grabbed the Samehada sword with one hand, leaned over and rushed towards the Deep Sea Titan. The barbs on Samehada's body drilled out in an instant, revealing its full appearance. This is a ninja sword with a mouth. In the lake, the steel monster was not afraid at all. The anchor in his hand suddenly pointed at Ashigaki Kisame, and a shockwave was hit into the ground by it. The lake water under the ground was like a volcanic eruption, and thick waves of water gushed out. This deep sea impact is impossible to avoid. Whether it is the surrounding water sharks or Ashigaki Kisame, they are all hit by the waves, brought by the shockwave. Ashigaki Kisame was hit out of the lake before he even had time to react, and the whole person lay on the ground in embarrassment. The shark-faced young man opened his mouth and spurted out a stream of blood. His whole body was full of unsuppressible pain, but he just gritted his teeth and endured it. Ashigaki Kisame didn't rest, but just looked at an anchor flying towards him. If he could withstand this attack again, he might lose his life. I can only try that trick. Ashigaki Kisame quickly put his hands together and made another seal. He glanced coldly at Uehara Naraku on the tree and said in a deep voice, "Kit, pray that you can find a stronger summoning beast in the future." Water escape big shark bullet technique. A huge shark was generated beside him. After circling Kisame for a week, the whole shark gradually became extremely huge, larger than the size of the deep sea titan. The giant shark opened its bloody mouth and swam towards the deep sea titan. In order to let the shark swallow the deep sea titan, Ashigaki Kisame did not hesitate to use his own chakra to feed it, so that it grew to a large enough size. The water shark bit the deep sea titan and swallowed it into its stomach, but the whole water shark exploded instantly, stirring up waves. A puff of smoke dispersed in the water. The tall deep sea titan summoned by Uehara Naraku disappeared without a trace. It just so happened that its summoning time had reached its limit. Although it was very restrained against Ashigaki Kisame in regular battles, it was restrained by Kisame's strongest ninjutsu. Water style. Great Samaritan Jutsu is a ninjutsu that becomes stronger and bigger by devouring the enemy's chakra and can almost restrain any enemy with abundant chakra. Although Ashigaki Kisame defeated Uehara Naraku's summoned beast, his own image was not very good. In order to destroy a summoned beast, Kisame's chakra was almost exhausted and his body was severely injured. I don't know how many bones were broken. Samehada, come here. Ashigaki Kisame grabbed the handle of Samehada's knife, greedily feeling the remaining chakra in Samehada's body, trying his best to recover from his injuries. But this little chakra was far from enough. Ninjutsu, summoning technique. Ashigaki Kisame quickly put his hands together and formed seals, summoning sharks one by one, and ordered Samehada to swallow each shark to replenish chakra and heal his wounds. At the beginning of the battle, Kisame wanted to kill Uehara Naraku's summoned beast, to teach this kid a profound lesson, but he didn't expect that now he would have to rely on swallowing the sharks he raised to restore his body and chakra. Uehara Naraku didn't stop him, but just looked at Ashigaki Kisame's actions with interest, and even said kindly, "Mr. Kisame, do you need help? I can help you grill shark fins. I learned the best grilling skills from my teacher." Ashigaki Kisame ignored his humiliation, but just clenched the Samehada sword, and slowly stood up. As the sharks were swallowed up by Samehada, the wounds on his body were gradually healing. At least it can support him to fight for a while. The battle is not over yet. Water style, 1000 sharks. Ashigaki Kisame quickly formed seals with his palms and slapped the water surface. Thousands of water sharks jumped out of the water and rushed towards Uehara Naraku. What a pity, I'm not good at fire style ninjutsu. The young ninja still smiled. He just threw out a few detonating tags, slowly raised his fingers, and whispered, "Ninjutsu, mutual multiplication detonating talisman." A series of explosions sounded in the air. Each detonating tag is equivalent to a fire style ninjutsu at the Jonin level. Thousands of detonating tags were detonated one after another, and the scorching fire waves instantly evaporated the 1000 sharks into water vapor. Ashigaki Kisame swallowed his saliva involuntarily. This guy, is he too rich? Tens of thousands of detonating tags can be sold for hundreds of millions of taels of money in a scarce place like the Hidden Mist Village. Before the smoke and water vapor had dissipated, Ashigaki Kisame felt a pain in his shoulder. A card penetrated the smoke and stuck in his body. "Kid, do you think you can hide from my sight?" Ashigaki Kisame waved the Samehada sword in his hand and slashed at the strange place in the smoke. He could tell at a glance that there was someone there. Bang! The Samehada sword was like hammering on a steel plate. Ashigaki Kisame's knuckles were hurt by the shock, and Samehada also cried out in pain. A childish voice came from the smoke. "Mr. Kisame, it's better not to be too arrogant in front of me, right? Continue to ask for recommendation votes, collections, and rewards. Thank you Von Sklovsky for the reward. This name is really long. Thank you Hanayu 369, Jatigo, and book friend 202002112111540968 for the reward. This name is even longer. Chapter 31 Senior Afei, your name is. Uehara Naraku's body emerged from the smoke, a golden light shield wrapped around him that blocks Samehada's attack. It was the ultimate skill, the moment of holy judgment. A golden chakra lightsaber was suspended beside him, vaguely reflecting the invincible posture of the young ninja. Uehara suddenly stretched out his palm, grabbed the barbs on Samehada's body, used the force to flip his body, and kicked Kisame in the neck, knocking him to the ground. The golden chakra lightsaber followed closely, nailing Hoshigaki Kisame to the ground. How is this possible? Hoshigaki Kisame fell to the ground and couldn't move. He looked up at the boy, who had no wounds, after being hit by Samehada, and the surprise on his face could no longer be concealed. Nothing is impossible. Uehara Naraku kicked Samehada away, looking down at the shark face on the ground, holding a card, and scratching a line on his mist-hidden headband. From now on, you are Hoshigaki Kisame of the Akatsuki organization. Do you have any objections? Just at this time, the system has determined that Hoshigaki Kisame has no ability to resist, and issued a skill reward. Side quest, defeat the 7 ninja swordsmen, 2/7. The reward is unknown. Side quest, defeat Hoshigaki Kisame, 1/1. The task has been completed. The reward skill, Giant Shark Assault. Giant Shark Assault, remotely summon a giant void shark to attack the target area from underground. After 2 seconds, the shark will jump out of the ground and devour the souls of all enemies in the area. Chakra consumption is 100 points, and the cooling time is 80 seconds. Uehara Naraku accepted the system reward and was still forcing Hoshigaki Kisame to surrender. The mysterious masked man who had been observing the battle was a little impatient. How did Hoshigaki Kisame inexplicably lose to Uehara Naraku? Karen stood beside the mysterious masked man, watching the battle between Hoshigaki Kisame and Uehara Naraku with astonishment on her face. She had never thought that there was a ninja that could be so powerful. Karen opened her mouth slightly and asked in a low voice, "It seems that the boy won. What should we do now?" The mysterious masked man fell into silence. Since Uehara Naraku won, his plan was naturally bankrupt. The most important thing now is to rescue Hoshigaki Kisame from Uehara. If Hoshigaki Kisame refuses to surrender, Uehara Naraku will definitely not shy away from killing a Kirigaku ninja. That would mean the loss of one of his carefully selected subordinates. The mysterious masked man thought of this and did not hesitate anymore. He turned into a vortex of time and space and appeared beside Uehara Naraku and Hoshigaki Kisame. He suddenly appeared and grabbed Uehara's arm and said with a smile, "Ah, it seems that the battle between you is over." The sudden appearance of the mysterious masked man shocked Uehara Naraku. Sure enough, this guy has been secretly following him? Senior Afei. Uehara Naraku hurriedly shook off his arm and said in a deep voice, "If I remember correctly, your task should be to find Senior Scorpion's partner. You shouldn't appear here, right?" Well, the mysterious masked man scratched his head embarrassedly and explained shamelessly, "I was actually worried about your safety, so I planned to help you persuade Hoshigaki Kisame to surrender in advance. I didn't expect that I was still too late. Ah, fortunately, nothing happened to you." Uehara Naraku's expression suddenly became a little subtle. He met his opponent. This guy is quite thick-skinned when he is through the mask. If the fight between Hoshigaki Kisame and him just now was not ordered by the mysterious masked man, Uehara Naraku would have made this Samehada into sashimi and fed it to Hoshigaki Kisame on the spot. The mysterious masked man didn't know what Uehara Naraku was thinking. After he hurriedly explained to Uehara Naraku, he squatted down to check the injuries of Hoshigaki Kisame. After confirming that Hoshigaki Kisame was not seriously injured, the mysterious masked man said with a smile, "Hey, Mr. Kisame, Uehara and I are both members of the Akatsuki organization. You must be willing to join our organization now." "Huh, do I have any other choice?" Hoshigaki Kisame was surprised for a second after hearing the name of the Akatsuki organization, and suddenly sneered, and nodded slightly in accordance with the words of the masked man, which was regarded as formally agreeing to join the Akatsuki organization. No, you can also choose to die. Uehara Naraku lowered his head with a smile and shook his head at Hoshigaki Kisame. This sentence choked Shark Face speechless, and even the masked man next to him was a little confused. Can a few words from the mysterious masked man be more effective than a fight? This is too disrespectful to him. Uehara turned to look at the mysterious masked man and continued, "Senior, this is my mission. I think I should kill Hoshigaki Kisame here, invite another person to join the organization, and then go back to report to Teacher Conan. It's also my own business. Hey, this won't do, kid." The mysterious masked man objected. As a matter of course, we invited Hoshigaki Kisame to join the organization after secretly observing him for a long time. There is no more suitable candidate than Kisame in the entire Hidden Mist Village. Just because there is no suitable person in the Hidden Mist Village does not mean that there is no suitable person in the current Water Kingdom. Uehara Naraku looked at the mysterious masked man with dissatisfaction, pointed to the depths of the forest, and said loudly, "Konoha's copy ninja Hatake Kakashi has sneaked into the Water Kingdom. He is now surrounded by a group of hidden mist ninjas. We can save Kakashi and recruit him to join the organization." This kind of words are purely a joke. In fact, the reputation of Hatake Kakashi is much greater than that of Hoshigaki Kisame. If Uehara Naraku really invites Kakashi to join the organization by rescuing him, then Akatsuki will definitely gain another spy from Konoha. The mysterious masked man did not take Uehara's words as a joke. His attitude was extremely firm. He objected loudly, "Hatake Kakashi is worse than trash. Our organization can't tolerate such a guy who kills his companions." "Yes, we can tolerate him." Uehara Naraku spread his hands innocently and said, "Senior Afei, have you forgotten that Senior Kakuzu in our organization always leaves the base in pairs to go on a mission, and when he comes back, he carries a box of money by himself? I think Kakashi and Kakuzu are different." The mysterious masked man felt that Naraku Uehara was annoying. He regretted his rash plan. If this continued, maybe this kid would really give up Hoshigaki Kisame and pull that bastard Kakashi into Akatsuki. Nothing is different, right? Uehara Naraku tilted his head and explained softly, "I heard that Hatake Kakashi also has the Sharingan, so he can just partner with Itachi." This was really reasonable. Uehara Naraku himself couldn't help but have this devilish idea. At this moment, he actually had the idea of recruiting Kakashi and letting him partner with Itachi. Unfortunately, if Hatake Kakashi, who now knew the identity of the mysterious masked man, was really recruited, the Akatsuki organization would most likely explode on the spot and split up directly. Abato. Just at this moment, an unbelievable voice came into everyone's ears. It was the Hatake Kakashi they had been discussing. The copy ninja of Konoha was covered in scars, but he didn't care about his injuries. Instead, he rushed towards Uehara Naraku and the masked man with an excited look. Hatake Kakashi staggered a few steps and fell beside the mysterious masked man. In a daze, he whispered, "Abato, I finally found you." Although it was Tuesday, I still continued to ask for recommendation votes. Thanks to Fuan Wuxin for the reward. Thanks to Byungsin, Langchen, Zanokan, Youngua Kingayan, and Agway Iadwan for the reward. The names of the book friends who rewarded today are so easy to type. Chapter 32. Who is the best actor in Zio? Hatake Kakashi fainted. There was a burn mark on the man's arm, and his clothes were corroded. He must have been attacked by boiling and melting ninjas. In the entire land of water, there happened to be a woman who possessed these two bloodlines. When Hatake Kakashi was evading pursuit, he was discovered by Ao and was ambushed by Meitarumi. Despite the huge disadvantage, Kakashi still managed to pull back a point and even tied the game. Unfortunately, in addition to Meitarumi, he also encountered many mist ninjas. In desperation, Hatake Kakashi thought of the lightning release, 10,000 Thunder Prison induction, that he had just secretly copied, and wanted to use this move to directly defeat all the mist ninjas. However, when Kakashi made a hand seal, he felt something was wrong. Fortunately, he had an idea and chose his own Reikiri, which opened up a way out. Just after escaping, Kakashi met the target person he came to the land of water for. If he met a group of Miss Ninjas, he would definitely die. If he met his old teammate Uchiha Obito, there might be hope of survival. Kakashi's tense mood finally relaxed. The mysterious masked man was in a bad mood, looking at Hatake Kakashi with shock. Who can tell him how Kakashi knew his identity? And since he even called out his name, it must not be a random guess by Kakashi. Which bastard leaked his identity? Uchiha Obito was going crazy. Uehara Naraku, who was standing next to him, showed a hint of surprise at the right time, and said with some doubt in his eyes, "Senior Rafei?" The name that Kakashi just said. The mysterious masked man instantly regained consciousness, turned his head, and looked at Uehara Naraku with a fierce look in his eyes, but he still restrained himself. "I don't know what he is talking about." "He is talking about Obito." Uehara Naraku repeated it with an innocent face, and even added, "Senior Rafei, are you and Kakashi from Konoha old acquaintances?" After that, Uehara Naraku's eyes lit up. "That's right. You have a good relationship with Itachi." It turns out that Senior Rafei is also a ninja from Konoha. The mysterious masked man was a little upset. This kid Uehara actually analyzed his identity so seriously. Doesn't he know that if a person knows too many secrets and pokes into other people's privacy, his life will become very short? Now the mysterious masked man knows that his identity cannot be leaked to others, especially Nagato and Konan. They would recognize Uchiha Madara, but not necessarily an ordinary Uchiha ninja. Since Uehara Naraku seemed to have noticed this secret, the first thought of the mysterious masked man was to block the news. A gloved hand suddenly reached out and grabbed Uehara Naraku's neck. The mysterious masked man said in a gloomy voice, "Kid, I was optimistic about you, but in order not to affect Nagato and Konan's judgment, I can only kill you here, Senior." Uehara Naraku gasped as hard as he could, tightly grasping the mysterious masked man's wrist, trying to break free from his restraints, and pleaded in a low voice, "Senior, I won't reveal this secret." "Really?" The mysterious masked man's eyes gradually turned scarlet, and a trace of bloodthirsty madness flashed in them. "But I want to kill you now." "No, don't." Uehara Naraku grabbed the detonating tags in panic, and stuck them on the mysterious masked man with all his strength. He said with some determination, "Senior, if you don't agree, then die with me." At this moment, Uehara Naraku planned to give himself 100 points for his acting skills. The mysterious masked man didn't notice anything unusual. Perhaps he was confident in his strength, so he let Uehara Naraku stick the detonating talisman on his body. Is this guy not smart enough? Or is he a little too arrogant? The mysterious masked man didn't notice anything unusual, and sneered at Uehara Naraku. "HMPH, do you think you are worthy of dying with me, Senior?" The pain on Uehara Naraku's face suddenly faded away, and he actually revealed a strange smile. "Why do you think you are not worthy of dying with me? You are just an intern in the organization." After saying that, Uehara Naraku broke free from Obito's restraints with a little effort, and flew into the air. The boy looked at the mysterious masked man on the ground coldly and said contemptuously, "If you don't want to die together, then go and die." What a naive kid. The mysterious masked man laughed instead of getting angry. Just when he wanted to continue to say harsh words, the sound of the detonating talisman exploding interrupted his words. Boom. The detonating talismans exploded suddenly. The unconscious Hatake Kakashi and Hashigaki Kisame on the ground were all blown away by the aftermath of the detonating talisman on the masked man. The mysterious masked man's face remained calm, allowing the detonating talisman to penetrate his body, but he could not hurt him at all. However, his right eye turned into a windmill-shaped main Gekkai Sharingan, where there was a strange camo space. Through the power of the main Gekkai Sharingan, the mysterious masked man's body can be virtualized at any time and hide in the space to avoid being hurt by external attacks. This is also the reason why he can proudly face most ninjas in the ninja world. In the camo space, the mysterious masked man's body has already hidden in this space, intending to avoid the bombing of the detonating talisman and let Uehara Naraku recognize the gap in reality. Unexpectedly, when his body just entered the camo space, one detonating talisman after another appeared with his body. Boom. The entire camo space seemed to be celebrating the new year, and the bombing sound of the detonating talisman was endless. Moreover, no matter whether the mysterious masked man hides in the outside world or in the divine space, there will always be detonating tags inexplicably following him, blowing him up. What the hell is going on? What kind of ninjutsu is this? The mysterious masked man looked up at Uehara Naraku in the air, with a hint of anger in his eyes. He was actually played around by a little kid. Uehara Naraku raised a finger and whispered, "Shh, senior, don't worry, I only used 100 million detonating tags, and this fireworks feast will be over soon." Damn kid. The mysterious masked man suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. His clothes had been destroyed, the mask on his face had become tattered, and his body had become tattered, but the bombardment of detonating tags continued. His divine space had no way to get rid of the tracking of those detonating tags. Uehara Naraku looked at the flames of the exploding detonating tags leisurely. The technique of multiplying detonating tags is actually a kind of time-space technique, and its invention principle is the simplest psychic technique. As long as there is a detonating talisman attached to the target, a single detonating talisman can summon trillions of detonating talismans to bombard the target continuously until the target's body is blown into pieces. Even if the mysterious masked man can hide in the Shenwei space, the detonating talisman will follow him into the Shenwei space and continue to summon a large number of detonating talismans, which makes him very uncomfortable. If he can use the Shenwei pupil technique to avoid it, 100 million detonating talismans are just a fireworks feast. Now even if he can use the Shenwei pupil technique, he can't escape the explosion of the detonating talisman. Then he can only use that trick. Uehara Naraku looked at the tragic situation of the mysterious masked man being bombarded by the detonating talisman, and whispered, "Okay, if the senior dies here, then blame the senior for his bad luck. If the senior is lucky enough to survive my ninjutsu, then return to the organization as soon as possible and confess your identity to Teacher Conan and Lord Yahiko. Thank you for the reward, that you don't need me anymore. I need you." Chapter 33. Believe it or not, I'll chop off the shark muscle and feed it to the dog. Please vote for recommendation. Asshole. The mysterious masked man ignored the pain caused by the explosion, looked at Uehara Naraku in the air, and slowly closed his fingers. "I must use I's energy. I must kill everyone present." The mysterious masked man was a little glad that he and Uchiha Itachi participated in the genocide operation and collected enough 3 Magatama Sharingan from the Uchiha clan so that he could use enough consumables for I's energy. As long as he used I's energy, he could transform all the damage he suffered into dreams, and he was a member of the Uchiha clan, so the duration of I's energy would be maximized. When all your 100 million detonating tags are blown up, it will be your death, kid. The fire and sound of the detonating tags exploded, attracting the attention of other people in the forest, such as the girl Karin and the mist ninjas who were chasing Kakashi. After Karin saw Hatake Kakashi, she rushed out of the dense forest, carrying the seriously injured Hatake Kakashi on her back and quickly fled the scene. Uehara Naraku looked at the strange girl who was going away in surprise, and then he lifted up a Shigeki Kisame's neck and flew into the air, leaving her with a shark face. The detonating talisman continued to roar. The mask on the mysterious masked man's face fell off completely, revealing his true appearance. He didn't care about the damage of the detonating talisman, but just stared at the shadow in the air and said in a hoarse voice, "Kit, you can't escape." After the pursuit ninja team of the Hidden Mist village rushed out, they looked at the man who was still being bombed by the detonating talisman in the same place with some surprise. This man is a tough guy. But now they have neither been able to catch the trace of Hatake Kakashi nor save Captain Shigeki Kisame. The pursuit ninja team decided to stay and planned to take Uchiha Obito back to the village for interrogation after the bombing of the detonating talisman ended. After the successive explosions of the multiplying detonating talismans ended, the transplanted 3 Magatama Sharingan in Uchiha Obito's left eye completely turned grey. Even with the guidance of the mutual multiplication of the detonating talismans, the bombing time of hundreds of millions of detonating talismans was too short. I's energy was able to easily transform all the damage Uchiha Obito suffered during this period into dreams. It was with this in mind that Uehara Naraku disappeared in front of Uchiha Obito. He was not absolutely sure that he could defeat this guy. Uchiha Obito glanced at the mist ninjas present. In the surprised eyes of these ninjas, his body gradually dissipated in the original place. Just when the mist ninjas were confused, a hoarse shout woke them up. Would release. Cutting technique. Uchiha Obito's figure suddenly appeared behind a mist ninja, holding a wooden thorn in his hand, and inserted it into the heart of the mist ninja. One by one, wooden thorns grew out of the mist ninja's body and pierced his body. Uchiha Obito threw his hand and pushed away the body of the mist ninja in front of him, looking at the other mist ninjas, and another wooden thorn emerged from his palm. These guys just allowed him to temporarily vent his pent-up anger. Uchiha Obito felt as if he had returned to the past, to the night when Nohara and Lin died in battle. That night he was as angry as he is now, killing people and causing blood to flow like a river. The screams were endless. When the head of the last mist ninja of the pursuit ninja team was twisted off, Uchiha Obito gradually regained his composure and rethought his next plan. First of all, the crisis of identity exposure was all because of Hatake Kakashi. If Kakashi had not revealed his identity before he fell into a coma, Uehara Naraku would not have known that he was Uchiha Obito. Then how did Hatake Kakashi know that he was Obito? This question must be found out. Obito didn't quite believe that Black Zetsu would reveal his information to Hatake Kakashi because it would not be of any benefit to their plan. This is even more terrifying. If someone had already seen through his identity, wouldn't they have been secretly aware of all his plans? This is the biggest trouble. Secondly, the crisis of identity exposure must be resolved as soon as possible. Of all the people who knew his identity just now, Karen and Uehara Naraku are on the kill list. But before killing Uehara Naraku, he must learn from him why those detonating tags are constantly summoned from his side, and whether that technique is a killing move developed by Konan against him. As for how to crack those infinitely summoned detonating tags, Uchiha Obito has already made a plan. As long as he is not locked by the detonating tags on his body, he should not be in the situation of certain death just now. In addition to Uehara and Karin, there is also Hoshigaki Kisame. However, Kisame has always believed that he is Uchiha Madara. He can test him a little later. If Hoshigaki Kisame is still loyal to him, he can stay. As for the bad Hatake Kakashi, he must not be killed, because he still needs to ask him who told him the news. The last question is, if his identity is completely exposed, Konan and Nagato will know that he is not Uchiha Madara. What should he do to regain their trust? A successor to Uchiha Madara? No, as long as he is a powerful Uchiha, it will be enough. Anyway, Obito has long wanted to stop being Uchiha Madara's puppet and live in his name. The old man has died long ago. Uchiha Obito clenched his fists. After all, only powerful ninjas can have the right to speak in this ninja world. If Nagato cannot break his Kamu ability, he can only continue to follow his plan. As long as he still has the Kamu Mangekyou Sharingan, he can still control everything in the dark. Now go find Hatake Kakashi first. Take this opportunity to get the most important information from him and find out who is behind me. Uchiha Obito grabbed the headscarf of Miss Ninja, wiped the blood off his hands casually, and threw the bloody headscarf on the body of the Miss Ninja. Then he stepped over the corpse step by step, stepped on the blood plasma on the ground and walked forward. A time and space vortex appeared beside him, taking him into the Kamu space, leaving only the Miss Ninjas with horrible dead faces all over the ground. When Uchiha Obito was slaughtering the Miss Ninja, Uehara Naraku had already flown to a secluded mountain with Hoshigaki Kisame and threw Shark Face to the ground. Hoshigaki Kisame didn't mind at all. He stared at the young man standing in front of him and even said with a smile, "Ha, I thought you would kill me. That's such a waste of resources." Uehara Naraku glanced at the Samehada sword that had climbed onto Kisame's body and continued softly, "I advise you to give up the idea of resistance and tell me the information about the mysterious masked man. You actually want to get information from me?" Hoshigaki Kisame threw away the handle of Samehada's sword and asked Uehara Naraku with a smile, "You are obviously members of an organization, but you want to ask me, an insignificant person. Don't you think it's a bit unwise?" Uehara Naraku lowered his head in silence, looking at the little eyes of Hoshigaki Kisame on the ground, and suddenly smiled on his face. "Mr. Kisame, when did you like to talk nonsense?" The next second Uehara's smile instantly restrained, and he said coldly, "Okay, don't waste each other's time. Hoshigaki Kisame, do you think what you see is the truth of ninja world?" Hashiga Kisame looked calm, as if he had seen life and death before. He asked softly, "What do you think is the truth? You are just an ignorant person who wants to get some incomprehensible information from me." As he spoke, he took advantage of Uehara's unpreparedness and unconsciously put his fingers together, trying to make a seal secretly. Naraku kicked his palm away, stared straight into Kisame's eyes, and said in a deep voice, "Hashiga Kisame, don't do these little tricks in front of me. If I find out again, I will chop your Samehada into pieces and feed it to the dogs." Hashiga Kisame subconsciously loosened the handle of the knife after hearing this, and the Samehada sword moved its body tremblingly and hit on the other side. Thanks to Zingai Kyangsing 2017, Yangsan Joshi, and just 11 paintings for the rewards. Thanks to Remlia Zero Scholat for the rewards. Thank you very much. Chapter 34, The Rewards of Recruiting Hashiga Kisame. Okay, I don't want to waste time. Naraku picked up Hashiga Kisame and sat him up, looking straight at him and said, "Zabuza Momochi should go and assassinate the 4th Mizukage now," but he would never have thought that the 4th Mizukage of the Hidden Mist Village has already been controlled by someone with illusion, right? Naraku refused to continue talking nonsense and directly exposed the biggest secret in Hashiga Kisame's heart and sold Zabuza Momochi by the way. Anyway, there was no one else around here, and no one knew what Zabuza Momochi was going to do. In the entire Hidden Mist Village, only Hashiga Kisame himself knew the truth, that the 4th Yagura was controlled by someone with illusion, and he even served the person who controlled the Mizukage. Naraku looked at Hashiga Kisame word by word, and continued in a low voice, "That guy claimed to be Uchiha Madara, right?" Hashiga Kisame's eyes bulged, and he looked at Naraku in disbelief. He couldn't imagine that Naraku knew so many things. The person who controlled the 4th Mizukage did claim to be Uchiha Madara to Hashiga Kisame. Since Uehara said Madara's name, it was basically confirmed that he actually knew everything about the things in the Hidden Mist Village. Hashiga Kisame restrained his expression and said calmly, "Since you already know so much, what do you want from me? It sounds like you know the identity of that person." "Yes." Naraku raised his eyebrows and whispered, "He has been lying to you. You just heard it. His real name is Uchiha Obito. Before that, he was just a chunin in Konoha. After awakening the Mangekyou Sharingan, he relied on his eye technique to call himself Uchiha Madara, cheating everywhere in the ninja world and spreading his evil ideas, such as the Moon Eye Project." Hashiga Kisame's heart jumped and then fell a little bit. Since the true identity of the mysterious masked man has been exposed, the so-called Moon Eye Project cannot be hidden from the eyes of others. Kisame was slightly frightened when he first saw Uchiha Madara appear and showed that he had been secretly controlling the 4th Mizukage. Kisame knew that he was the biggest black hand of the Hidden Mist Village. However, the Naraku in front of him actually knew all of this. This boy who looked only 12 years old seemed more like the real mastermind than the fake Mr. Madara. Hashiga Kisame felt that the world was not worth it, and that the world was always deceiving him. Every time he thought he had learned part of the truth, another layer of fog would be lifted, making him clearly realize his ignorance and weakness. But now, there is another chance to uncover the truth. Although behind the so-called truth of Uehara, there must be countless things hidden. Hashiga Kisame pondered for a while, raised his head, and looked at Naraku firmly, and opened his mouth full of shark teeth. "Then can you tell me, what is the truth of the Moon Eye Project? Do you really want to know?" Naraku looked at him with a smile, bought a piece of dark spear equipment from the system store in his brain, and threw it on the ground. "If you really want to know, pick up this dark spear and sign a soul contract with me." Dark spear. Through the dark spear, ask others to sign a cooperation agreement. If they accept the agreement, the dark spear will enter their bodies and bind their souls. If they betray the contract, the betrayer's soul will be collected into the dark spear to strengthen its power. Only one person can be bound, and it can be released actively. If I can see the true face of this world, death is just a trivial price for me. Hashiga Kisame chuckled, without any hesitation, and when he leaned over to hold the dark spear on the ground, a dark green energy wrapped around him, and the other end of the dark green energy was connected to Naraku's body. When the two of them were each wrapped in the green energy, a proud female voice came into their ears, like a sigh of a god. The oath has been signed. When this soul contract was completed, Uehara Naraku found that a status and a skill automatically appeared on his system panel. Spear of Darkness, contracted. Life energy of both parties plus 10%, activated. Chakra energy of both parties plus 10%, activated. Call of Destiny, if the contract is near you, you can pull the contractor to your side. The contractor is invincible and cannot be selected for 4 seconds. The duration is related to the chakra consumption. After the skill ends, you can throw the contractor in any direction. The skill consumes at least 100 chakras and has a cooldown of 120 seconds. Whether it is the increase in life energy and chakra energy or the skill of Call of Destiny, Uehara Naraku suddenly felt that he had earned too much this time. Uehara Naraku felt that the Call of Destiny was more like being born to protect Hoshigaki Kisame. He now wants to cancel the soul contract with Hoshigaki Kisame and wait until the next day for Conan to bind the contract of Spear of Darkness. Hoshigaki Kisame naturally didn't know all this. If he knew what Uehara Naraku was thinking, he would tear up the contract on the spot. In addition, there are several side quests. Side quest, have your first subordinate, 1/1, quest completed, reward 100 gold coins. Side quest, have a subordinate with cage level chakra power, 1/1, quest completed, reward 1000 gold coins. After seeing the rewards for the quest, Uehara Naraku wanted to praise the system in his heart. Not only did it make him fat, but it also let him know something. Hoshigaki Kisame should have firmly chosen to become his subordinate, so that he would be judged as his subordinate by the system. In this way, he only needs to rely on the system's task panel to judge who is his real one. After all, the Bay that Uehara thought he had won over before must not have regarded him as his boss in his heart. Maybe Bay still regarded him as a friend who begged for food together. This feeling is a bit strange. Uehara Naraku glanced at his gold coin balance, suppressed his ecstasy, and quickly bought a piece of equipment he had long admired, the Berserker armor worth 2850 gold coins. Berserker armor, life energy plus 800 basic life recovery plus 200% skill cooldown reduction plus 10% passive skill. When the life energy reaches 3000 points, the effect of Berserker's heart is automatically activated. If no damage is taken within 6 seconds, 5% of the maximum life energy will be restored per second. Activated. After getting this equipment, Uehara Naraku felt relieved. Although he had the invincible skill of the Holy Judgment Moment, this skill had a cooldown time. The existence of the Berserker armor still made him feel more secure. Uehara Naraku glanced at his attributes and inexplicably felt that he had reached the peak of his life. Life energy 3301, standard cage level 3000 10,000, chakra energy 3575, standard cage level 3000 10,000, life energy recovery 6 point/second chakra energy recovery 3 point/second remaining gold coins 320. After looking at his own attributes, Uehara Naraku was in a good mood, and his attitude towards Hoshigaki Kisame became friendlier. He looked at the first subordinate he recruited with a gentle face. Okay, what questions do you want to know? I can answer them all. Please vote for recommendation. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. Shall we assassinate the Mizukage? At this moment, Hoshigaki Kisame's face was also very shocked. He had only signed a contract, but he actually gained a lot of chakra and body energy from that green energy. Therefore, the first question Hoshigaki Kisame asked was about his new power. I want to know what kind of technique is this, which can actually increase my strength and chakra. The first question raised by Hoshigaki Kisame made Uehara Naraku stuck. A trace of embarrassment appeared on the face of the young ninja. He waved his hand and explained casually, "This is a gift from the Dark Spear to you. Let's talk about the Moon Eye project proposed by the Lyracha Hirobito." Hoshigaki Kisame nodded and said seriously, "This is what I want to know most. can the Moonai Project achieve peace in the ninja world? No. Uehara Naraku shook his head and explained in a deep voice, the Moonai Project is a huge conspiracy. Behind it are many conspirators who use this plan to deceive people. Black Zetsu used this plan to deceive Uchiha Madara for its use. Uchiha Madara used this plan to deceive Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito is using this plan to deceive my teacher. Hashiga Kikisame just listened to the general idea and felt a little numb on his scalp. Isn't this Moonai Project just a nesting doll? It sounds a bit like a pyramid scheme. Uchiha Obito, who deceived him, is also a deceived object. Hashiga Kikisame widened his eyes and whispered, so what will the Moonai Project lead to in the end? Uehara Naraku spread his hands and said helplessly, probably it will resurrect an old woman who has lived for more than 1,000 years, gave birth to 2 sons, but is still a little cute. Kisame couldn't understand it at all. He finally realized a problem. In fact, he shouldn't ask so many questions, because there are too many things he can't understand. The so-called truth of the ninja world is too complicated, and it is not something that Uehara Naraku and he can figure out in a short time. Kisame racked his brains for a while and asked, then what can I do? Kill that Uchiha Obito and stop this plan? No. Uehara Naraku shook his head and said softly, what you have to do is join the Akatsuki organization, lie in wait, and pretend to be a spy sent by Uchiha Obito to monitor Uchiha Itachi. When I need it, I will ask you for information about Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Itachi. After a while, Hashiga Kikisame figured out what Uchiha Naraku meant and said with a smile, actually, I'm a spy sent by you, but I have to pretend to be a spy sent by Uchiha Obito, the liar, to monitor the genocide Itachi, right? You are very wise. Uehara Naraku praised Hashiga Kikisame and added, when we return to the Akatsuki organization, don't be too polite to me. For some reasons, I'm still just an intern in the organization. How many interns are there in the Akatsuki organization? Hashiga Kikisame looked at Uehara Naraku a little speechless. When that guy named Obito found me and ordered me to beat you seriously, he also told me that he is now just an intern of Akatsuki. I'm different from him. Uehara Naraku waved his hand and explained softly, Uchiha Obito is just hiding himself under the name of an intern and secretly monitoring the actions of Akatsuki, and I'm a real intern of Akatsuki, the kind with a good background. Hashiga Kikisame shook his head and said nothing. Of course, he couldn't tell his new boss directly. This boss was much more hidden than Uchiha Obito. I don't know why this Akatsuki organization has so many spies or conspirators with different thoughts, and it has not been disbanded until now. What a tenacious organization with a miracle-like vitality. Naraku Uehara was thinking secretly over there that apart from the matters of Zabuza, Momochi and Haku, there was nothing else to do in the water country. Thinking of this, Uehara asked Kisame, is there anything else you need to deal with in the water country? No. Are we leaving the water country now? Hashiga Kikisame shook his head. He was originally free of worries. After a moment, Hashiga Kikisame seemed to have thought of something and said with a smile, just now I heard that Momochi's abuser was going to assassinate the 4th Mizukage. Why don't we give Uchiha Obito a gift before we leave? Kill the Mizukage who was controlled by him. How about it? Uehara Naraku was silent for a while and remembered Hashiga Kikisame's bloodthirsty nature and couldn't help saying, the Hidden Mist Village is your hometown. That's why I helped them end the Blood Mist Village before I defected. Hashiga Kikisame carried the Samehada sword on his back and said softly, as a ninja who killed many companions in the village, I know the pain of killing companions. The 4th Mizukage has issued so many orders to kill companions. The real him has been in agony for a long time, right? Who can endure the pain of killing companions? Even though Hashiga Kikisame, who is now numb in his heart, has felt this kind of pain before. When he was the most lonely, he met a female ninja who was friendly to him, but he killed the female ninja with his own hands, because of the order of his boss. If the 4th Mizukage Yagura was freed from the illusion, and knew that the Kirigakure village had been killing each other, because of his order, the Mizukage would definitely commit suicide out of grief, right? Uehara Naraku looked at Hashiga Kikisame, who was full of excitement, and felt that he could not discourage his subordinates. Okay, do whatever you want. After killing the 4th Mizukage Yagura, Uchiha Obito, who secretly controlled Yagura, was probably vomiting blood in his heart. This was actually a good thing. However, Hashiga Kikisame shook his head, showing his shark teeth, and chuckled. No, this can't be done by me, because I still have to lurk in Uchiha Obito's camp. If I kill Mizukichi, it will arouse his suspicion. Uehara Naraku immediately understood what Hashiga Kikisame meant. He wanted to use his hand and the opportunity of Momochi's abuser to assassinate the Mizukichi, to make some contributions to their hometown. If what Hashiga Kikisame said didn't make sense, Uehara Naraku felt that it would be difficult to tell who was the boss between him and Hashiga Kikisame. Uehara Naraku frowned and said, "It's not that easy to assassinate the fourth Mizukichi, especially since there is a tailed beast in his body. Let's find out his information first." "Don't worry, I know the whereabouts of the Mizukichi." Hashiga Kikisame chuckled and shook his head, providing information to his new boss. Since Yagura was seriously injured by Uchiha Itachi and Biwajuzo, he has been living in his original residence. It is a forbidden place in the Hidden Mist village, and only his trusted ninjas can get close. "I see." Uehara Naraku sighed. Anyway, he went to assassinate the fourth Mizukichi. In addition to causing trouble for Uchiha Obito, he could also complete several side quests. The reward for assassinating the Mizukichi might be a little more generous, right? Please recommend. Thank you for the reward from Don't You Have a Nickname that can be used. Thank you for the reward from Don't Nag Me. Just give me some water and it will flood. Thank you for the reward from Reader 1230403243657637888. Thank you for the reward from Kano1. Hu 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 hu. Thank you. Chapter 36. Don't cheat in front of me. Is this where the fourth Mizukichi lives? When Uehara Naraku and Hashiga Kikisame arrived at the fourth Mizukichi's lakeside residence, they only saw a pile of mist ninja corpses lying on the shore, and the clear lake water was also scarlet. Hashiga Kikisame nodded, looked around, and exclaimed, "Zabuza killed so many Mizukichi guards. It seems that he has been preparing for a long time. Judging from the traces of battle and blood temperature at the scene, it has not been long since Momochi's abuser assassinated the fourth Mizukichi Yagura, and he may still be hiding nearby." As for the outcome of their battle, neither Uehara Naraku nor Hashiga Kikisame is optimistic that Momochi's abuser can kill Yagura. The Three Tails Jinkriki cannot be solved by those assassination methods. Suddenly, a wave of waves rose on the water. An ugly giant beast rushed out, with water dripping from the thorns on its back, three tails as hard as steel swaying back and forth behind it, and a pair of strange eyes staring at the two people on the shore. Ah! Instead of seeing the fear of the giant beast on Hashiga Kikisame's face, a smile appeared on his face. He was able to force the Mizukichi to transform into a tailed beast. Zabuza's strength should not be underestimated. This giant beast is the three-tailed Isabuki of the Hidden Mist village. The next moment, after the giant beast, which was as big as a turtle, glanced at Hashiga Kikisame, its body turned into a cloud of smoke and dissipated in the sight of the two. A ninja who looked like a teenager suddenly walked out of the smoke. There was a scar on his face that looked like a suture, but he didn't look scary, but rather cute. It was the fourth Mizukichi, Yagura Kurutaji. His eyes looked a little cold as he said, "HMPH, Zabuza is just a coward. He doesn't need me to use the power of Isafu. I just let Isafuji out for some fresh air." Hashiga Kikisame spread out his palms, looked at Uehara Naraku, chuckled and said, "If we are to face Lord Uehara next, please don't be stingy in using the power of the three-tailed Isafuji. Otherwise, it will be difficult for Lord Uehara to have a good time." "Is that so?" Yagura Kurutaji looked at Naraku Uehara and nodded seriously. "I understand. I won't hold back." Hey, don't listen to Kisame's nonsense." Uehara Naraku glared at his new subordinate, turned to look at Yagura Kurutaji and said, "After all, if you use the three-tailed Isafuji, you will die painfully. It would be more convenient for everyone if I kill you in this form." Uehara Naraku's words made Kurutaji Yagura's face turn ugly. Why is this kid so arrogant? The fourth Mizukichi didn't look at him, but looked at the shark face ninja, Hashiga Kikisame. "It seems that you also want to assassinate me? This kid is the helper you found?" "No, Lord Mizukichi, don't misunderstand." Hashiga Kikisame shook his head and denied Yagura's accusation. He chuckled and continued, I won't intervene in this battle, because now I'm just an innocent person who is coerced to assassinate Lord Mizuki. According to his and Uehara Naraku's plan, he will not participate in this battle, because he also wants to see Uehara's strength. Defeating or killing a figure of the 5 shadow level is also a measure of strength. Then wait until I kill him, and then I will deal with you. Yagura looked at Uehara Naraku, his palm suddenly turned over, and the green flower iron rod weapon behind him fell into his hand, and he actually attacked Uehara Naraku first. Uehara Naraku grabbed his weapon with one hand. Since his life energy increased to more than 3000 points, both his strength and speed have been greatly enhanced. It is easy to block Yagura's attack. Strength, not bad. Uehara Naraku sighed, not knowing whether he was praising himself or Yagura, but what he said undoubtedly angered the 4th Mizuki in front of him. Yagura's palm suddenly turned blood red, and he slapped Uehara Naraku's chest with a palm. A bunch of corals quickly solidified Uehara's body. This is the ability from the three-tailed Isabu, the coral palm. Only the Jinkriki who can borrow the power of the three-tailed can use the coral palm. Once hit, corals will quickly grow on the body. As a perfect Jinkriki, Yagura, all parts of his body can enter the half-tailed beast transformation at any time. Borrowing the ability of the three-tailed Isabu, this technique is almost unexpected, causing many ninjas to fall inexplicably in this ninjutsu. The 4th Mizuki really did not break his promise. He promised not to hold back and immediately use the power of the three tails on Uehara Naraku. It's quite troublesome. Uehara Naraku looked at the corals that kept growing on his body, which almost instantly covered his whole body, and whispered, we just met, and you're using this kind of power. The moment of the holy judgment. A golden light shield emanated from Uehara's body, instantly dispelling the coral palms on his body. As Uehara waved his palm, a chakra lightsaber pierced Yagura. Yagura's iron rod flipped, and a stream of water fell from his green flower, turning into a mirror that suddenly stretched across them. Water style, water mirror technique. A ninja who looked exactly like Uehara Naraku emerged from the mirror, and the chakra lightsaber pierced another water incarnation of Uehara almost instantly. Yagura turned over to avoid Uehara's attack, frowned, and said with a sullen face, didn't the copy of the water mirror technique succeed? The water mirror technique will produce a ninja that is exactly the same as the enemy and can even use the enemy's ninjutsu. The copy just now obviously failed. Uehara Naraku punched Yagura's jaw, knocking him out, and then twisted his wrist and said, well, the reason why it can't be copied, maybe because this world can only accommodate one of me? Little brat, you are so shameless. Yagura was knocked to the ground by Uehara Naraku. He suddenly turned over and quickly began to make hand seals, water style, water dragon. Uehara Naraku stepped on the ground with one foot, and gravel flew. Uehara's speed was too fast, forcing Yagura to give up the hand seal. Unexpectedly, the 4th Mizuki was not surprised at all, but a thick tail rushed out from his back. It was the tail of the three tails. Yagura suddenly swung the tail behind him, slapped Uehara hard, and knocked him out. This guy was using hand seals to lure Uehara to attack. Uehara Naraku, who was flying backwards in the distance, patted the mud on his body and stood up again. He saw that his life energy had dropped by more than 1000 points, which means that the force of Yagura's attack just now was enough to easily kill an ordinary jonin. Hoshigaki Kisame, who was watching the battle, shook his head and sighed at Uehara Naraku. There are obviously more ways to interrupt the hand seal, but you chose the most dangerous way. However, you can take on the power of the three-tailed beast. No wonder you are so confident. I wanted to fight you as an ordinary ninja, but you used the power of the tailed beast. Uehara Naraku pinched his fingers, calmly began to put his hands together to form a hand seal, looked at Yagura and whispered, Your Excellency the 4th Mizuki, I forgot to tell you that I hate others cheating in front of me. Thanks to Iwadagst for the reward. Thank you for the reward. I really don't recognize the second character. Chapter 37. Another member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen appears. The 4th Mizuki Yagura didn't understand what Uehara meant, but he could see that Uehara was making hand seals. Yagura couldn't tell whether the boy in front of him was making hand seals seriously or trying to lure him forward to attack. After all, the order of Uehara's hand seals was messy, and some of the hand seals were not even in place. but his expression when he made hand seals was extremely serious. Hashiga Kikisame, who was standing aside and watching the battle, was a ninja who was extremely obsessed with hand seals. He couldn't stand Uehara Naraku's hand seals and corrected him. "Sir Uehara, you made the wrong hand seals again. The seal of the sea is invalid if you make it like this." "Shut up." Uehara Naraku's face turned red and he retorted, "What do you mean the seal of the sea is effective or not? What's the use of making hand seals? It's enough to release ninjutsu." After that, in order to verify his words, Uehara Naraku raised his palm to the sky and shouted, "Lightning release. 10,000 thunder prison induction." Thunder cloud storm instantly covered the sky. Lightning bolts moved in the thunder cloud storm, and one of them suddenly shot out and fell on the body of the fourth Mizukage Yagura. The thick tail behind Yagura blocked the attack of the lightning bolt. He glanced at the somewhat charred tail, and there was a slight confusion in his eyes. How can he release the lightning release ninjutsu? Yagura hadn't figured out why Uehara Naraku in front of him inexplicably released the lightning release ninjutsu, and another lightning bolt struck down and hit his tail. Yagura recovered and looked at another lightning bolt that shot out from the thunder cloud storm. His face finally became solemn. "This technique will attack twice in 1 second? This time interval is too short. Not to mention letting Yagura release a ninjutsu, even if he rushed to Uehara Naraku and interrupted his ninjutsu with a physical technique. The time was not enough. Little brat, no wonder you dare to assassinate me." Goji Yagura clenched his palms, and a ball of scarlet chakra emerged from his body. The chakra was evil and violent, and it covered his body in almost an instant. It was the chakra of the three-tailed beast. But this power is far from enough. Amid Yagura's roar, the red chakra completely covered his face. At this moment, a layer of tailed beast coat formed on Yagura's body, with a frightening and uneasy aura. Hashiga Kikisame, who was watching the battle, also had a trace of solemnity on his face. In his hand, he had already grasped the Samehada sword that wanted to jump out of his palm. This is the power of the tailed beast. For thousands of years, the power of the nine-tailed beasts symbolized destruction and violence, and each of the Jinkriki who could use the power of the tailed beasts could easily become a powerful person at the level of Kage. The next moment, the ground under Yagura's feet instantly shattered. The half-tailed beast Yagura almost ignored the lightning attack and turned into a red monster, rushing towards Uehara Naraku. His speed was so fast that Uehara could hardly see his movements. The next second, Yagura had already rushed in front of Uehara, and his fist trapped in the tailed beast's chakra was about to hit Uehara's chest. Command Shockwave. A puppet appeared in Uehara's hand. The puppet suddenly opened, and the surrounding space was quickly pulled and visibly distorted. Yagura was embarrassed and huddled up in a ball due to the distortion of space. Uehara Naraku's eyes fell on Yagura indifferently, and a purple energy ray shot out from his eyes, and Yagura's chakra coat was instantly burned out. The intense pain and the pain of the disappearance of the surface of his body made Yagura unable to suppress his roar. His body slowly emerged pieces of scales, and he used the power of the three tails to try to resist the invasion of the energy ray. Finally, a huge monster suddenly appeared. The fully formed three-tailed Isabu appeared in front of Uehara Naraku again, but now its body was extremely miserable, with pits and wounds all over its body. Roar. The life-form disintegration ray continued. Even when the three-tailed appeared, it was still struggling to endure the pain that corroded its soul. Endless waves of water were raised under its body, surging towards Uehara Naraku. The energy rays in Uehara's eyes did not stop, and he just casually stretched out his palm and summoned a huge wind wall, wind style, wind barrier. The chakra that appeared in the wind wall overturned the three-tailed water style ninjutsu, and the water waves rolled and surged and hit the three-tailed body. Hashiga Kikisame, who had been relatively calm, looked at this scene, and the expression on his face completely collapsed. It's okay to release ninjutsu without making hand seals. Lord Uehara, can you actually release two different attributes of ninjutsu at the same time? Sharkface scratched his head and couldn't figure out what the principle was. The only thing that Hashiga Kikisame could be sure of was that if the three-tail was still under the attack of the purple energy ray, its death was only a matter of time. The purple energy released in Uehara's eyes was really overbearing. However, a splash of water under the feet of the three-tail suddenly surged and turned into a huge water man, punching it away and saving it from the attack of the energy ray. Then the huge waterman turned his head and stretched out a finger in the direction of Uehara, and a crisp voice rang in everyone's ears. Water escape water iron cannon technique. A gushing torrent shot towards Uehara Naraku. Uehara Naraku was hit by a water iron cannon head on, and his body flew backwards. The purple energy ray swept everything around uncontrollably, and the weak creatures such as trees and weeds turned into nothingness out of thin air. When did this guy come? Hashiga Kikusame's face changed, and he stood up with the Samehada sword in his hand, and his eyes slowly looked at the huge waterman. The huge waterman slowly gathered together and turned into a young ninja with a mouth full of sharp teeth. Senior Kisame, what's going on? The young ninja looked at Hashiga Kikusaime who was standing by, and then looked at Uehara Naraku who was standing up again. He frowned and said, "That guy, is he here to assassinate the Mizukage?" "Yes." Hashiga Kikusaime tightened his ninja sword in his hand, looked at the young ninja in front of him and chuckled. "Are you here to assassinate the Mizukage like Zabuza? As the future hope of the Hidden Mist Village, it would not be good for you to defect. Mainjutsu Kizuki. Now, the only one who can perform the water transformation technique in the family ninjutsu of the Mainjutsu clan, and possess such strong strength can only be Mainjutsu Kizuki, another member of the Hidden Mist Ninja Swordsman. He is also the youngest in the Hidden Mist Village, and is also known as one of the most powerful members of the Hidden Mist Swordsman. The 7 ninja swordsmen have always selected members based on their strength and compatibility with the swords, but the Hazuki clan has always been able to easily obtain the favor of the 7 swords. In addition, Hazuki Mainjutsu also has an extraordinary talent for ninjutsu and a wealthy family background of the Hazuki clan. He has always been considered by ordinary Kirigakure ninjas to be the man who can lead the revival of Kirigakure in the future. Hazuki Mainjutsu did not answer Hashiga Kikusame's words, but just frowned at the bandaged wound on Hashiga Kikusame's body, and asked back, "Senior Kisame, please answer me first. Why are you here? Otherwise, I will list you as an enemy to be eliminated. Please recommend." Thank you Yanks and Joshi for the reward. Thank you book friend 160,510,120,246,830 for the reward. By the way, do you want to consider changing your nickname? The name is a bit long. Chapter 38, Among the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, who doesn't want to kill the Mizukage? So which side are you on? Hashiga Kikusaime looked at Hazuki Mainjutsu with a smile, and put the Samehada sword on his shoulder. "Little guy from the Hazuki clan, I remember that you have never been allowed to get close to here. You came to the residence of the Mizukage-sama. Do you want to rescue the Mizukage-sama, or do you want to kill the Mizukage-sama and the assassin together?" Hazuki Mainjutsu fell silent. Hashiga Kikusame's words punctured Hazuki Mainjutsu's false illusion of peace. The Hazuki clan of the Hidden Mist Village is a powerful family in the village. The most prosperous period was undoubtedly when Hazuki Jinjutsu became the 2nd generation Mizukage. Since then, the Hazuki clan has established its status as a powerful family in the Hidden Mist Village. However, since then, the Hazuki clan has hardly been in line with the successive Mizukages, and their status is too transcendent. These Hazuki clan ninjas who can use the water transformation technique are gifted and powerful. They have been in charge of 7 ninja swords, and served as the leaders of the 7 ninja swordsmen, responsible for managing this powerful ninja team that is not very obedient to the Mizukage. The 7 ninja swordsmen, a ninja team that is not very convinced by the Mizukage, are very friendly to the Hazuki clan, because the Hazuki clan can freely summon 7 ninja swords. Isn't this a crazy test on the edge of death? The status of the Hazuki clan is very similar to that of the Uchiha clan in Konoha. No, the status of the Hazuki clan is much stronger than that of the Uchiha clan in Konoha. At least their clan members have produced a Mizukage, but the patriarch of the Uchiha clan can't even get a position in the top of Konoha. In any case, the relationship between the Hazuki clan and the 7 ninja swordsmen is destined to make it impossible for them to live in harmony with the high-level ninjas headed by the Mizukage. After years of war, the members of the Hazuki clan suffered heavy losses on the battlefield, and their talents are gradually withering. Coincidentally, the Uchiha clan of Konoha now only has Uchiha Itachi and his brother Uchiha Sasuke, and the Kazuki clan of the Hidden Mist Village now only has Kizuki Mainjutsu and his brother Kazuki Mainjutsu. Looking at the silent Kizuki Maingetsu, Hashiga Kikisame chuckled and continued, if you kill Mizukage here, even if you are only 13 years old this year, you are still likely to be elected by many people to succeed as the 5th Mizukage of the village. Kizuki Maingetsu shook his head, stretched out his hand to hold the ninja sword behind him, raised his head, and looked at Hashiga Kikisame, and said in a deep voice, then I can only disappoint Senior Kisame. I will not betray the village, let alone rebel and kill Mizukage. Then what are you talking about here? Uehara Naraku's voice came out, and his body turned into a black shadow, and appeared in front of Kizuki Maingetsu, punching Kizuki Maingetsu on the head, splashing a large amount of water. The splashing water gathered together again, and turned into Maingetsu's head. The water transformation technique from the Maingetsu clan made him immune to physical attacks of this level. Uehara Naraku looked at Maingetsu's head being hit hard, but he seemed to ignore it. He couldn't help but exclaimed, TSK, water transformation technique? It's really magical. Your excellency is more frightening. Maingetsu's face gradually became solemn. He stretched out his hand to hold the ninja sword behind him and said softly, I have never seen anyone who can withstand a direct attack from the water cannon technique without any injury. Even I have never seen one. Well, now you see it. Uehara Naraku was somewhat glad that he bought the berserker armor in advance. The speed of life energy recovery was much faster than before. However, during the time when Maingetsu and Hashiga Kikisame were talking, his life energy had recovered almost completely. Just as they were confronting each other, the three-tailed beast in the lake suddenly turned into smoke and dissipated. The 4th generation Mizukage Yagura climbed up and covered his arm tightly, with blood flowing out of his fingers. As the three-tails Jinkriki, Yagura's recovery ability is also very strong, but the wound left by the purple energy released by Uehara Naraku is surprisingly strange, and the tailed beast chakra cannot repair his wounds at all. Everyone's eyes wandered, slowly looking at the seriously injured 4th Mizukage. Yagura looked at everyone present with cold eyes, and opened his mouth to order, Manzuki Hazuki, I order you to kill this little devil and Hashiga Kikisame. Manzuki Hazuki raised his eyes, and glanced at everyone present, suddenly pulled out the double sword's flounder behind him, and responded in a deep voice, I know. Mizukage-sama. Uehara Naraku quickly raised his finger, and just when he wanted to fight Manzuki Hazuki, Hashiga Kikisame suddenly waved Samehada to stop him. Just as Uehara was surprised, Hashiga Kikisame chuckled and said, Lord Uehara, don't be anxious. The situation in the Hidden Mist village is much more complicated than what you see. In this village, the so-called companions are just dead souls under the butcher's knife. Hashiga Kikisame watched Maingetsu Hazuki slowly moving the ninja sword in his hand, and the smile on his face became more and more intense. A seriously injured Mizukage is a huge temptation for every ninja who wants to kill the Mizukage. As Hashiga Kikisame's voice fell, Maingetsu Hazuki really clenched the flounder in his hand, turned around and chopped towards Yagura behind him. Uehara Naraku frowned, looking at another of the 7 ninja swordsmen who betrayed Yagura, and couldn't help asking, what's going on? If it was a fully powered Mizukage, naturally no one would dare to do it. Only that crazy guy Momochi's abuser would take the initiative to attack. Hashiga Kikisame grinned, looking at Maingetsu Kizuki and Yagura who were fighting fiercely, and continued with a smile, but if it was a seriously injured Mizukage, that would be another matter. After all, every Kirigakure ninja has a heroic dream of changing the Blood Mist village. Our 4th generation Mizukage has never paid attention to his subordinates. He can only barely suppress the ninjas in the village with the power of the Three-Tails Jinchuriki. What's more, the decline of the Kirigakure wealthy Kizuki clan is really due to the 4th generation Mizukage standing in front of us. Ever since the Hidden Mist village became the Blood Mist village, the 4th Mizukage Yagura had long lost the support of the Hidden Mist senior officials, not to mention that the rules he personally made had long made the Hidden Mist ninjas lose respect for him. Moreover, the gradual demise of the Kizuna clan in the Hidden Mist village was indeed closely related to the 4th Mizukage who implemented the Blood Mist policy. Uehara Naraku looked at the figure of Kizuna Maingetsu, and said with some doubts, if his goal was also to kill the 4th Mizukage, why did he stop me from killing Yagura just now? Because he also wanted revenge. Hashiga Kikisame chuckled and explained, the relationship between the Kizuna clan and the 4th Mizukage is like fire and water. Since I joined the Anbu, I have seen many missions to eliminate the Kizuna clan ninjas. Well, that's all Uchiha Obito. Uehara Naraku was about to speak. Shouldn't the blame for everything that happened in the Hidden Mist village be placed on Uchiha Obito's head? However, thinking about it carefully, Kizuna Maingetsu really knew nothing about it. Hashiga Kikisame shook his head and whispered, Lord Uehara, it has long been a routine for successive Mizukages to suppress the ninjas in the Hidden Mist village. It's just that the man who manipulated the fourth Mizukage behind the scenes has completely intensified the conflict. Uehara nodded, thoughtfully. Does every ninja village have such a bad thing? With so many deep hatreds, it doesn't seem strange that Maingetsu Kizuki wants to kill the Mizukage. The Uchiha Fugaku clan leader who died not long ago, if he met the seriously injured Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen in private one day, I'm afraid he would even want to scatter his ashes for them. Thanks to Iwadagst for the reward. Chapter 39. Both parties want to hide the secret, but this guy wants more. The expression on Hashiga Kikisame's face gradually became a little solemn, and then suddenly relaxed. Unless Manzuki Hazuki wants to defect, otherwise, he must want to silence us two insiders. One person can't do two things at the same time. TSK, there are helpers. Uehara Naraku nodded, a card active at his fingertips. His body flew into the air with the help of the dance technique, suspended in the air, to observe the surrounding situation. It seems that you guessed it. Manzuki Hazuki chopped off the 4th generation Mizukage Yagura with a knife, showing his sharp teeth, and said with a smile, no matter who it is, they can't escape. The nature of the Hazuki clan has always been bloodthirsty. If Manzuki Hazuki is a gentle ninja, how can he live up to his sharp teeth? Since Uehara Naraku and Hashiga Kikisame guessed it, Manzuki Hazuki didn't think of hiding it, but just said loudly, come out, senior's abuser. A trace of silence flashed in the air. Uehara Naraku's expression was a little strange, and he even wanted to laugh. If he heard correctly, the name that Maingetsu Hazuki called out sounded a little familiar. Uehara Naraku twisted his neck stiffly and looked at Hashiga Kikisame. Are all the ninjas from the Hidden Mist village so careless in doing things? Why does he think that Zabuza Momochi can stop the two of us? Hashiga Kikisame shook his head, indicating that he didn't know either, but he would not underestimate Zabuza Momochi. Kisame whispered, Zabuza is proficient in the art of hiding in the mist, and he does have the ability to stop me, but I don't think he can beat Lord Uehara. I can't understand. Uehara Naraku looked at Maingetsu Kizuki who was still suppressing the 4th Mizukage Yagura, frowned and asked, before you look for helpers, don't you go and find out about the fighting power of the helpers? Momochi's abuser. Hey, kid, don't look down on people. A figure suddenly rushed out, cursed, and then jumped into the air, waving the big knife in his hand, and slashed at Uehara Naraku. It was Zabuza who was looked down upon. Uehara was not panicked either. He was much more flexible in the air than Zabuza. He just lowered his head slightly to avoid the beheading big knife, and his wrist was across Zabuza's chest and suddenly exerted force. Bang! Momochi's abuser fell to the ground in a mess. Uehara Naraku looked at Zabuza, shook his head and sighed. Zabuza, I haven't seen you for 3 days, and your strength is getting weaker and weaker. Pa. Zabuza spat out a mouthful of blood foam. Although it was also because he was seriously injured in the previous assassination of Yagura, Zabuza clearly felt that Uehara Naraku's strength had become stronger again. How long has it been since they met again? The strength of this little brat Uehara Naraku seems to have increased exponentially. What's going on? Hazuki Maingetsu couldn't help but turn his head to look at Momochi's abuser, and whispered, Senior's abuser, do you know each other? Momochi's abuser was silent. His previous defeat at the hands of Uehara Naraku was not a glorious thing. Uehara Naraku slowly landed beside Zabuza, and seemed to understand Zabuza's thoughts. He chuckled and said, Mr. Zabuza, there is no need to be shy about our relationship. After all, many people have been defeated by me, but few people can be let go by me. When Maingetsu heard this, he couldn't help but show a hint of surprise. The current situation seemed to be a little out of his control. 6 hours ago, Zabuza Momochi thought that the time had come to assassinate Yagura, and quietly came to Yagura's residence to assassinate the 4th generation Mizukage. Unexpectedly, His strength was far from enough to match, and he was beaten by Yagura and fled, and the news leaked out. Maingetsu, who was in charge of the village's defense, was the first to get the news that the Mizukage was assassinated by Zabuza. He did not choose to send support directly, but instead killed the Mizukage guard ninja who returned to the village for help, and blocked the news as soon as possible. Maingetsu found Zabuza Momochi, and after getting information about Yagura from him, he planned to come here to find an opportunity. If Yagura was still intact, Maingetsu Kizuki would still be the 7 ninja swordsman who was loyal to the Mizukage. If Yagura was seriously injured, Maingetsu Kizuki would not mind giving him a ride, as the Maingetsu clan never had any pacifist ideas. However, when Maingetsu Kizuki arrived here, he did not know that he could kill Yagura directly by giving Uehara Naraku a little time. Maingetsu Kizuki only noticed the seriously injured Yagura. Therefore, the current young patriarch of the Maingetsu clan decided to take action immediately, planning to kill both Yagura and Uehara Naraku. However, the current situation is obviously out of control. Okay, let's sort out the current situation. Uehara Naraku clapped his hands, pointed at the seriously injured Yagura in the distance, and said softly, "It seems that our goals overlap. Everyone wants to kill the 4th Mizukage directly. You should have no objection to this, right?" The 3-7 ninja swordsmen looked at each other. Zabuza Momochi snorted coldly, Maingetsu Hazuki nodded, and Kisame Shigeki smiled. It's really the sadness of the times. The strongest ninja team in the Hidden Mist village, the 2nd generation of the 7 ninja swordsmen, now has only 3 people, and they all want to kill their immediate superior. The 4th Mizukage Yagura's eyes changed, looking at the people present, and smiled sadly. "I didn't expect you guys. Sorry, I almost forgot that the Mizukage is still alive." Uehara Naraku didn't even turn his head, still looking at Zabuza Momochi and Maingetsu Hazuki. He just snapped his fingers in the direction of Yagura. When everyone was still a little surprised, a strange looking shark suddenly appeared out of nowhere on the ground under Yagura's feet, and swallowed him up. A moment later, the shark dived into the ground again, leaving only the body of the 4th Mizukage Yagura lying alone on the ground. The strange skill of giant shark assault is unexpectedly powerful if it can be successfully sneak attacked. Uehara Naraku just snapped his fingers and summoned a strange shark to kill the 4th Mizukage Yagura. This scene made Zabuza Momochi and Maingetsu Kizuki both look horrified. Hashigaki Kisame chuckled and said, "Sure enough, Lord Uehara is best at the no-seal ninjutsu, right?" Whenever Hashigaki Kisame saw Uehara Naraku making hand seals, he always felt something was wrong, because he would make some small mistakes from time to time. Now that I think about it, those were just Uehara Naraku's disguise to show weakness, right? As an outstanding hand seal ninja and a loyal subordinate, Hashigaki Kisame was very considerate and suggested, "If Lord Uehara is willing, I can help you put together some beautiful hand seals." Hashigaki Kisame is very good at hand seals. Uehara Naraku nodded with some intention, then shook his head and said, "Forget it, let's talk about learning hand seals later. Let's deal with the matter at hand first. I don't want anyone to know that Kisame was involved in killing the 4th Mizukage Yagura. Then our idea is really coincidental." Maingetsu Kizuki slowly grabbed the scroll on his body and said softly, "Except for Zabuza Senpai, I don't want more people to know that I want to kill Yagura. Thanks to Metaverse 27 for the reward." Chapter 40 I want the exploding talisman and the explosive blade and spray. The situation fell into a stalemate again. Yagura's death could not change their opposition. Except for Momochi's abuser, an outsider, Uehara Naraku and Hazuki Maingetsu both wanted to keep their respective secrets. Uehara Naraku did not want Uchiha Obito to have any channel to know about Hashigaki Kisame's betrayal. He needed Hashigaki Kisame to be a spy. Hazuki Maingetsu did not want anyone to know that he tried to kill Yagura because he was born in the Hazuki clan and wanted to inherit the position of Mizukage. Hashigaki Kisame threw out the Samehada sword behind him, chuckled and said, "Lord Uehara, if I need to kill them, I should be able to do it, right? No hurry." Uehara Naraku waved his hand. He wanted to see the reward for killing Yagura first. Hidden task, remove Uchiha Obito's conspiracy control over the 4th Mizukage Yagura. 1/1. The task has been completed, and the reward skill is purification. Purification. Remove all negative effects on oneself. Cooldown time 210 seconds. No consumption. Uehara was puzzled. He had never noticed that there were hidden tasks. He felt that it was a bit strange to complete them. Could it be that killing Yagura also removed the control? However, the reward for the skill of purification was really generous. From now on, he would not have to worry about encountering the illusion control of the Sharingan, and he would not be killed instantly like Orochimaru and Kakashi. In addition, there are 2 ordinary side quests. Side quest, defeat the 3-tailed Isabu, 1/1. The task has been completed, and the reward skill Spike Defense is rewarded. Spike Defense, enter the defensive posture, and the life energy doubles. During this period, if the enemy's physical attack is hit to the body, half of the damage will be rebounded to the enemy. The defensive posture lasts for at least 6 seconds, consumes 40 points of chakra, and the duration is related to the consumption of chakra, with a cooldown of 4 seconds. Because he defeated a turtle, he was given a turtle skill. Why not just give him a summoning contract? However, the existence of Spike Defense greatly enhances his physical combat strength. The last task gives the most useless skill, because Ashigaki Kisame beside Uehara Naraku also has similar ninjutsu skills. Side quest, defeat the 4th Mizukachi Yagura, 1/1. The quest is completed, and the reward is the skill Roaring Waves. Roaring Waves, summon a wave from under your feet, sweeping all enemies in front. The skill range is related to the chakra consumption, with a minimum consumption of 100 chakra points and a cooldown of 100 seconds. Isn't this just a water-style ninjutsu? Uehara Naraku sighed. Standing next to him, Ashigaki Kisame could spit out a water-style ninjutsu that destroyed the dam in one breath. This skill can only be said to be better than nothing. Hey, Mainjutsu Kizuki, what do you want to do? Momochi's abuser inserted the beheading sword into the ground and whispered, only the dead can keep secrets, but these 2 guys in front of us are not easy to deal with. We must keep them. Mainjutsu Kizuki held a scroll in his hand and said, Sujetsu is still in the village. I don't want my brother to become a traitor. Sujetsu, that brat. When Momochi's abuser mentioned Sujetsu Kizuki, his face was a little ugly, because that brat always clamored to take away the beheading sword. Isn't this just saying that he will kill him when he grows up? If it weren't for a brother like Mainjutsu Kizuki, the outspoken Mainjutsu Kizuki would have been killed countless times. Ashigaki Kisame recognized the scroll in Hazuki Mainjutsu's hand and exclaimed, are you really the prodigy loved by the 7 ninja swords? Even Samehuda in my hand has recognized you, Hazuki Mainjutsu. Is that the scroll that can summon the 7 ninja swords? Uehara Naraku looked at the scroll in Hazuki Mainjutsu's hand curiously, and asked curiously, how many ninja swords can he use now? From the current point of view, it should be 4. Ashigaki Kisame knew the 7 ninja swordsmen very well and replied, similar sword is in my hands, the beheading sword is in Zabuza's hands, and the thunder sword is still in the hands of the previous generation's defector Kuroki Reiga. He can use the remaining 4. Ha. Uehara Naraku immediately became interested. I heard that one of the ninja swords is called Bakuto Fimo, which can summon countless detonating tags. Is this sword also among them? Although Uehara doesn't know the mechanism of this ninja sword, it may have a seal or a cursed seal of a summoning detonating talisman, but its ability alone is enough to attract people. This ninja sword can be used with a multiplying detonating talisman. Uehara Naraku has the skill of multiplying detonating talismans. No matter how many detonating talismans he has, they are not enough for him. If that doesn't work, he can give it to Xiaonin as a decoration. Ashigaki Kisame didn't know what Uehara Naraku was thinking, and nodded and said, yes, the explosive ability of Bakuto Fimo is also troublesome. Uehara Naraku's face immediately became serious. He hugged his arms, stared at Hazuki Mainjutsu who was untying the scroll, and said coldly, then let him hand over Bakuto Fimo. I like that ninja sword very much. Ashigaki Kisame's face was a little weird, as if he thought of the fear of being dominated by Uehara Naraku's explosive talisman formation, but now he was in Uehara's camp. He chuckled and nodded. That ninja sword is indeed suitable for Lord Uehara. It's a pity that it seems he doesn't want to hand it directly to me. Uehara Naraku pinched his wrist, walked towards Azuki Maingetsu step by step, and whispered to Kisame, "I'm going to take down Azuki Maingetsu, and Mr. Kisame will take down Zabuza. There should be no problem, right?" "Of course." Hoshigaki Kisame smiled confidently, and suddenly tore off the bandage on Sumehota's sword, and continued with a smile, "It's great that Lord Uehara is willing to deal with Manzuki Hazuki. After all, I'm not sure I can defeat the genius ninja in the village." Among the 3 current 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist village, although their true strength has never been discussed, they all know more or less that, if it is a head-on fight, Zabuza's strength should be the worst. As for Hoshigaki Kisame and Manzuki Hazuki, they rarely come into contact with each other, and Manzuki Hazuki, who is only 13 years old this year, has never lost any battle so far. Because Manzuki Hazuki has never really taken the enemy seriously in every mission, no matter how strong the enemy is, he can easily defeat it. Therefore, Manzuki Hazuki is also known as the most mysterious genius of the Hidden Mist village, a prodigy whose strength will never be known. As for the opponent that Manzuki Hazuki will face, it is also very interesting. Hoshigaki Kisame has never seen how much power Uehara has hidden, because no matter whether Uehara Naraku is facing Uchiha Obito or the 4th Mizukichi Yagura, he always appears so confident and calm. Hoshigaki Kisame turned his head with a smile, and looked at the opponent he was assigned to. Over there are 2 ninjas whose true strength has never been tested. Who do you support? Zabuza. Humph, the person I support has always been me. Momochi Zabuza rushed towards Hoshigaki Kisame wielding a beheading sword, and a civil war between the 7 ninja swordsmen began. It's too late, I forgot to update on time while eating. Chapter 41 The Shockingly Strong Boy. The swordsmanship battle between Momochi Zabuza and Inagaki Kisame was far less intense than the battle between Uehara Naraku and Kito Maingetsu, and it was not at all like a fight between 12 and 13-year-old boys. Gui Dengmanyu cut off the flounder in his hand with a single stroke, leaving a deep trench on the ground with murderous intent. However, the blade hit a yellow circular defense net. It was Uehara's defensive posture. It tightly wrapped Uehara's body, and there were even sharp thorns protruding from the intersections formed by the grid. Is this the only level? A smile appeared on Uehara's lips. The defensive posture of spike defense, the reward skill he had just obtained after defeating Three Tails, was enough for him to resist the enemy's sword skills in this battle. As long as he didn't meet Metke from Konoha village, his physical skills would be 50-50 comparable to most ninjas today. Ghost Manu looked at the smile on Naraku Uehara's face, twisted his wrist, and a gas emitted from the eyes of the ninja sword that enveloped the entire ninja sword. Pingmu Flounder Liberation. Ghost Deng Manu shouted coldly, and Flathead Flounder slapped Uehara. As he finished speaking, a ball of chakra light suddenly condensed from the squid knife and hit Naraku Uehara's body, instantly knocking Uehara away. This sword skill alone is not enough. Gui Dengmanu quickly retracted his palm, tore open the psychic scroll beside him, and raised his finger. The art of psychic, Dudu Deo Kokiri. The appearance of Dudu Deo Kokiri is very strange. A ninja sword that looks like an axe, with a hammer on the other end. Ghost Manu flew forward, grabbed the ninja sword with one hand and struck Naraku Uehara's body. He picked up the hammer with the other hand, and slammed it on the back of the sword. Blunt knife and kabuto are said to be able to break through all defenses, precisely because when it falls on the enemy, 2 powers will be superimposed. Bang! The blunt knife kabutori struck the yellow circular defense grid again. It's just that this time, Uehara Naraku's body flew backwards with the help of force. The superposition of the 2 powers made him a little unbearable. Ghost Manu's body was also damaged by the defensive shock of the spikes. A mouthful of blood pressed on the corner of his mouth and slowly flowed out from the gap in the corner of his mouth. This ninja sword is too noisy, isn't it? Naraku Uehara stood up, patted the soil on his body, ignored the consumption of his life energy, and pointed at the kabuto in Gui Dengmanu's hand. A hammer and an axe don't go together well. It should be paired with a sickle. What? Gui Dengmanu looked at Uehara in bewilderment, ignoring his crazy words. Her heart was still shocked by the defensive technique Uehara used just now. What is that yellow sphere grid? Can't even the blunt sword kabut destroy his defense? The kabutoki in Kiden Maingetsu's hand turned into smoke and dissipated. He quickly opened the scroll with his palm, and channeled another ninja sword. Long knife and needle. This is not what I want. Uehara Naraku's voice reached the ears of Oniden Mangayu. He immediately rushed to the enemy's side and kicked the ninja sword out of his hand. The long knife in Ghost Manyu's hand suddenly raised, and after dodging Uehara's attack, the steel wire behind the long knife and needle suddenly wrapped around Uehara's ankle. HMPH, you can't escape this time. Ghost Manyu waved and threw the long knife and needle in his hand. The sharp and slender ninja knife penetrated deeply into a big tree, and the steel wire on the handle was wrapped around it. They restrained Uehara's body and tied him tightly to the tree. He is indeed a genius ninja who is proficient in the 7 ninja swords. Every kind of weird shaped ninja sword can be played with almost every kind of ninja sword, and the most suitable time is used. Kiden Maingetsu looked at the restrained Uehara Naraku, stretched out his left hand, and shouted in a low voice, "Water release, Hoshi Akatsuki no Jutsu." Kiden Maingetsu's arms became visibly thicker. This is the secret technique of the Ghost Lantern clan, which can concentrate all the water in the body on the arms, thereby enhancing the strength of the wrists. Kito Maingetsu glanced at the battlefield on the other side. Zabuza Momochi was lurking in the fog and entangled Kisame Kisuki. There seemed to be no need to use the ninja sword now. Senior Zabuza, lend me the beheading sword. Ghost Manu quickly joined his hands to form a seal, then spread his palms. The art of psychic, broken sword decapitating broadsword. You bastard kid, take it first. Hidden in the fog, Momochi's abuser cursed, but in the end he didn't object. He also secretly observed the battlefield between Uehara and Kiden Maingetsu. Although these two 12 or 13-year-old brats did not use powerful ninjutsu, the physical battle between them was extremely brutal. Every time Momochi's abuser thought Uehara Naraku was going to be doomed, but every time Uehara used defensive techniques to resist, he would lightly pat his butt and stand up again. On the contrary, Kito Maingetsu, who took the initiative to attack, had already suffered a lot of internal injuries. That brat named Uehara Naraku, his defensive skills are simply ridiculously strong. How afraid of death is this kid? There are not a few powerful offensive ninjutsus, but the defensive ninjutsus are very skillful. Now that Ghost Maingetsu has once again seized the opportunity to win, Momochi's abuser will definitely support him, not to mention just lending him a beheading sword. Only the beheading sword can cut off everything. But Momochi's abuser remembered Naraku Uehara's weird technique and said loudly, "Be careful, this guy seems to be able to use a defensive ninjutsu that is completely immune to harm, which is stronger than the yellow defensive technique just now." However, Zabuza's reminder was already too late. After Gui Deng Manu borrowed the decapitating sword using her psychic skills, she didn't want to miss the rare opportunity. She held the decapitating sword tightly and struck at Naraku Uehara's head. A dazzling golden light mask emerged from Uehara's body. That golden light caught the sight of Kito Maingetsu and was also reflected into the sights of Kisamen's abuser through the sharp and smooth beheading sword. As ninjas who had fought with Uehara Naraku, Kisamen's abuser were the two of them. Knowing how powerful the defense of this golden light shield is, a thought emerged in the minds of the two of them. What's going to happen to that brat of Ghost Lantern Manu? Will all the 7 ninja swordsmen lose to Uehara? Naraku Uehara was bathed in the golden light and calmly faced the beheading sword. Uehara set up another layer of yellow spike defense outside of the invincible light shield of the moment of holy judgment, and faced the blade of the decapitating sword straight away. Bang! Countless blades flying around. The moment Kiden Manu held the decapitating sword and touched the first layer of defense of Uehara Naraku, he encountered a huge rebound force, and the entire decapitating sword was completely destroyed. Not only was the sharp beheading sword so good, but Ghost Manu's body was even worse. His whole body was injured by the force of the repulsion. The genius ninja of Kirigakure village spurted out a mouthful of blood, and he didn't know how many bones in his body were broken. Uehara Naraku opened his eyes, looked down at the seriously injured Gui Deng Manu lying on the ground, tilted his head and said, "Ha, I didn't even take action. Why did you fall down?" Gui Deng Manu twisted. Turning his head and looking down, he saw that only the handle of the decapitating sword in his hand was left, which made him wonder whether he was under an illusion. But the situation did not allow him to hesitate. Water escape hydration healing. Please vote for recommendation. Thanks to Chu Rixiang for the tip. Thanks to bookfriend 2020080611110360 for the reward. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. You are also a brother con. After Manzuki put his fingers together to seal, his body suddenly turned into a ball of water, and he quickly merged into the lake next to him using the family water transformation secret technique. In just a short moment, he walked out of the lake again. In no more than a few seconds, Manzuki had restored his original appearance, and the wounds and blood on his body were gone. Except for the huge consumption of chakra, Manzuki's body was completely healed at this moment. The secret technique of water healing is amazing. This secret technique is actually a ninjutsu similar to the Great Snake style substitution technique. By consuming a large amount of chakra, it can directly restore all the injuries of the body. Uehara Naraku looked at Manzuki and couldn't help but exclaimed, if you have the top bloodline in the ninja world, you may also become a genius ninja who can compete with Uchiha Itachi. This sentence is Uehara's true thought. Manzuki is only 13 years old this year, and he has practiced the family water transformation secret technique of their Manzuki clan very well. He can use the water transformation secret technique to be immune to physical attacks, heal himself, and is extremely good at swordsmanship. Moreover, he can use every special ninja sword of the Hidden Mist Village, as if it were his own arm. In terms of combat power alone, Manzuki Hazuki has surpassed the ordinary jonin of the ninja world. Should we say that he is worthy of being the eldest son of a wealthy ninja clan? In some aspects, Manzuki Hazuki is very similar to Uchiha Itachi. They are both 13 years old this year, and they are also the heirs of a wealthy clan of a large ninja village. In the future history of the ninja world, Manzuki Hazuki and Uchiha Itachi will both die prematurely due to serious illness. Is it the S-level rebel ninja of Konoha who exterminated the clan, Itachi? Manzuki Hazuki looked at Uehara in surprise, not quite understanding why this guy suddenly mentioned the name of Uchiha Itachi. The strength of the S-level rebel ninja of Konoha is indeed powerful. Some time ago, when Uchiha Itachi and Biwajuzo sneaked into the Land of Water, it is said that they severely injured the fourth Mizukage who had transformed into a half-tailed beast, which caused an uproar in the village. It was for this reason that Yagura left the Hidden Mist Village and hid here to recuperate. Momochi's abuser also had the idea of assassinating Yagura for this reason. The Hidden Mist Village was also secretly collecting information about him. Hazuki Maingetsu remembered the description of the wanted order circulated in the ninja world by Konoha, as well as some rumors he had heard, and shook his head and said, I won't kill my own people and torture my brother like him. Uehara Naraku chuckled, and didn't explain too much. He just thought it was a bit fun. Are all ninjas with younger brothers in the ninja world serious brother control? When Uehara Naraku thought of this, a smile appeared on his face, and he tentatively said, if you are willing to surrender now, I will consider sparing your brother's life. After that, Uehara Naraku pressed his temples in a serious manner, chuckled and continued, well, let me think about it. His name is Hazuki Sujetsu, and he should be 8 years old this year, right? A hint of anger instantly appeared on Hazuki Maingetsu's face. This genius from the Hidden Mist, who was rarely moved, now clenched his fists so hard that they creaked. Maingetsu Hazuki looked at Naraku Uehara with a serious face, and issued his own warning. If anyone dares to mention hurting Sujetsu, I will fight to the death. It seems that I guessed right. Naraku Uehara's smile became even thicker. He seemed to have found a way to contain Maingetsu Hazuki. This guy's indeed a ninja with a brother control. For such a genius ninja, if he is not allowed to join the Akatsuki Organization of Love and Peace, and is allowed to stay in the Hidden Mist Village and die of a serious illness sooner or later, isn't it a waste of talent? It's interesting to think about it. During the meeting at the Akatsuki Organization base, Naraku Uehara vowed that he could also recruit a Shigeki Kasame to join the organization. Conan also advised him not to care about the mission and to protect his own safety. Now if he pulls the only 3 remaining 7 ninja swordsmen from the Hidden Mist Village back, this is almost the maximum amount of mission completed, right? At least they have to be beaten, right? When Pain and Conan started a new business, how did they recruit people? It was not until they beat them up and threatened them that they slowly built up a group of ninjas. The smile on Uehara's face became even more intense, full of provocation. But even if you fight hard, it will be useless. I will kill you first, and then kill your brother. In order to increase his persuasiveness, Uehara Naraku continued to analyze. If the news of the death of the 4th Mizukage Yagura spreads, the hidden mist village should be in chaos, right? In this case, it doesn't seem to be too difficult to kill your brother. Asshole. Hazuki Maingetsu knew that the young ninja in front of him wanted to provoke him, but when it came to Hazuki Maingetsu, he still showed his uncontrollable anger. Give up your unrealistic idea. I will kill you here. After Hazuki Maingetsu said this angrily, his body turned into a huge waterman and punched Uehara Naraku. Boom. The wave splashed. The waterman's fist hit Uehara Naraku's body. The huge force caused the ground to collapse almost instantly, and the surging water flow suddenly turned into a flood that submerged the ground. Can the water transformation technique alone achieve this level? Uehara Naraku floated up from the water, floated in the air, looked directly at the huge waterman, and slowly opened his arms. Unfortunately, there is no ninjutsu that cannot be cracked in the world. Every technique has its shortcomings. For example, the water transformation secret technique of your Kizuna clan is very afraid of lightning ninjutsu. When the waterman, who was the incarnation of Kizuna Maingetsu, heard Uehara's words, his figure paused, and his huge palms actually began to clasp and form seals. The water waves on the ground surged up along the waterman's body, and then fell through the waterman's fingers like a waterfall. Kizuna Maingetsu's voice came from the waterman, and he shouted coldly, "You don't have the chance to release water ninjutsu. Water style, great explosion water wave." A stream of water gushed out of the waterman's mouth and rushed towards Uehara Naraku. The waves surged and splashed, forming a huge water ball-shaped lake, trapping Uehara. Uehara Naraku glanced at his wet clothes and was about to float out of the water ball when he suddenly felt the density of the surrounding water flow suddenly decrease, and it was squeezing his body. Maingetsu Kizuki completely melted into the water. In the ninja world, every water-style ninja uses the Great Explosion Water Shockwave, a ninjutsu that can change the terrain, but consumes a lot of chakra because they have matching attack method. For example, after using the Great Explosion Water Shockwave, Tobirama Senju will use the wave riding attack to attack the enemy from underwater. After using the Great Explosion Water Shockwave, Kisame Shigeki will enter the Fusion Samehada form and hit the opponent in the water. Maingetsu Kizuki used the Great Explosion Water Shockwave to cooperate with the water transformation technique. In the huge round water ball where they are, every drop of water is a part of his body. Every drop of water will be controlled by him. Maingetsu Kizuki was able to develop his family's secret water transformation technique to the fullest. No wonder he dared to appear here. Just in his current state, it is more than enough to defeat the Jinkriki, right? Unfortunately, you picked the wrong opponent. Uehara Naraku's eyes suddenly turned cold, and he raised his hand. Then let me show you my lightning release ninjutsu. Lightning release, 10,000 thunder prison induction. Chapter 43. He actually targeted Zabuza. What a loser. Or thunderstorm appeared. Uehara Naraku smiled softly, and the chakra in his body quickly flowed into the thunderstorm in his hand, and the volume of the thunderstorm expanded almost instantly. Let me see where you are. As soon as Uehara Naraku finished speaking, the area of the thunderstorm had already covered the huge water ball, and lightning was floating in it. A lightning bolt quickly broke away from the cloud and struck a certain position in the water, where the face of Manzuki Kizuki was vaguely revealed. Manzuki Kizuki could only bear this blow stiffly, and his head slowly emerged, with a little surprise on his face. I didn't see any hand seals. However, time did not allow Manzuki Kizuki to be distracted. Outside the thunderstorm caused by the 10,000 thunder prison, a layer of arc lightning was swimming outside, gathering into an isolated cage. In this cage, lightning fell continuously. One after another, lightning struck Manzuki Kizuki. The power of the ninjutsu is not that great. Maingetsu passively endured the attack of lightning, lowered his head, and continued to analyze. But is this technique continuous? And the frequency of attacks is very high. In just a few seconds, Maingetsu was forced to exit the water state. This is the defect of the water transformation technique of the Maingetsu clan. Once it encounters lightning, the body cannot be fully hydrated and will be forced to reveal its form. The huge round water ball completely lost Maingetsu's chakra and turned into waves and flowed into the lake, revealing the figures of Uehara, Naraku and Maingetsu. Water style, water prison technique. Maingetsu began to quickly form seals and released his defensive ninjutsu when the huge water ball was about to dissipate. The accumulated water on the ground quickly surged up, forming a hollow water prison that could just wrap Maingetsu, protecting him from the lightning falling in the thundercloud storm. Lightning struck the water prison one after another. Uehara Naraku walked towards Maingetsu Hazuki step by step, watching his expression across the water prison, and finally decided to tentatively persuade him to surrender. Do you want to save your brother's life? As long as you surrender to me now and join our organization, I will let you and your brother live. Maingetsu Hazuki raised his head and looked at the vast thundercloud storm in the sky. His mood gradually subsided and fell into a long silence. If he died here, his 8-year-old brother Hazuki would definitely not be able to survive in this cannibalistic mist village. But he also bears the wish to revitalize the family. After a while, Manzuki Hazuki slowly raised his head and looked at Uehara Naraku. The Hazuki clan participated in the founding of the Kirigakure village. Our ancestor Hazuki even became the second generation Mizukage of Kirigakure. Oh, I know him. Uehara Naraku spread his hands and said, I heard that the second generation Mizukage led the Kirigakure troops to attack the land of fire and failed, and turned to attack the land of earth, and ended up perishing together with the second generation Tsuchikage. Not only that, their bodies were buried together before they died. Later, they were all dug out by a tomb robber named Kabuto Yakushi. Uehara Naraku suddenly smiled and said softly, what does your family background have to do with your surrender? We still have Uchiha clan ninjas in our organization. The Hazuki clan doesn't seem to be particularly noble, right? Not noble. Hazuki Maingetsu frowned and said hesitantly, there are only me and Sujetsu left in the Hazuki clan. I also have the responsibility of revitalizing the family. I can't become a rebel ninja. Not only can he not, he dare not. Once his brother becomes a rebel ninja, how will his brother Hazuki Sujetsu survive in the Hidden Mist village? He will definitely be killed. While speaking, Hazuki Maingetsu proposed another solution. If possible, I'm willing to reach a superior subordinate cooperation relationship with you, and even provide you with some intelligence in the village. Hazuki Maingetsu was really worried about his brother, and for this reason he even violated his own ninja rules, and became Uehara Naraku's spy in the Hidden Mist village. Once Hazuki Maingetsu becomes the Mizukage, Uehara may replace Uchiha Obito as the new behind-the-scenes controller of Kirigakure. However, Hazuki Maingetsu is destined to die before the age of 17. Will he be left to die in Kirigakure? And Uehara Naraku himself doesn't know illusion, so what can he use to clamp Hazuki Maingetsu? This guy only has his brother and the revival of the family in his heart. Hazuki Maingetsu certainly doesn't care about other things at all. Wait, brother? Uehara Naraku suddenly remembered another pair of brothers with a strange relationship in the ninja world. He looked at Hazuki Maingetsu and chuckled. Do you believe that your brother will become stronger than you? I have a way here. Do you want to hear it? What way? Hazuki Maingetsu subconsciously raised his head. As a brother, he certainly believed that his brother would definitely surpass him. Do you think about letting your brother become a ninja who seeks revenge on you? A malicious smile flashed across Uehara Naraku's face. Will he become stronger at an unimaginable speed and become the one who will revive the Kazuki clan? Maybe he'll even have a chance to become the 5th Mizukage in the future. After a moment of confusion, Kizuki Maingetsu shook her head and said, only Mizuki is left living in the Blood Mist village. It's impossible for him to survive. Many people in the village are hostile to the Kazuki clan. Then entrust him to someone worthy of trust. Uehara Naraku remembered the brown-haired female ninja who gave him biscuits, and suggested softly, now that I have killed Yagura, the Blood Mist village will be over soon. Find a way to entrust your brother to the ninja named Terumi Meri in the Hidden Mist village. Do you think she will take good care of your brother? The woman with not so good eyesight, Terumi Meri, seemed to like taking care of the younger generations of the Hidden Mist village very much. Chijiro, the third-generation successor of the ninja sword Aoi, was deeply cared for by her. Meditarumi-senpai? Mainjutsu Hazuki's eyes suddenly lit up, but he hesitated and said, Meditarumi-senpai is indeed very caring for the village, but she is already 23 years old this year, and she should get married soon. Oh, only 23 years old? Uehara Naraku remembered that when Meditarumi gave him cookies, she looked a little young and beautiful, but this did not prevent Uehara from saying the next words, don't worry about this. Not to mention that she is only 23 years old. Even if she is 32 years old, she can't get married. In order to increase his persuasiveness, Uehara Naraku continued, Meditarumi's double bloodline limit is very vicious. No one in the Hidden Mist village should dare to marry her. Your Excellency makes sense. Mainjutsu Hazuki nodded unconsciously. Many ninjas who admired Meditarumi gave up their pursuit of her after seeing Meditarumi's fighting style. Now Meditarumi has no suitors. Some gossipy men in the village said that instead of hoping that Meditarumi would get married, it would be better to hope that she would become the Mizukage. Mainjutsu Hazuki didn't think too much about Meditarumi, he was more concerned about his brother. Mainjutsu Hazuki looked at Uehara solemnly and pleaded, now please tell me, sir, how can I make Sujetsu stronger? Now he is targeting senior's abuser, his vision is a bit short-sighted. Please vote for recommendation. Thanks to the white-haired Lucifer from hell for the reward. Thanks to Metaverse 27 for the reward. By the way, I see many people discussing Mainjutsu Hazuki's strength. It seems that they all use Sujetsu Hazuki's strength as the standard. However, think about the several pairs of brothers in the ninja world. Generally the elder brother is strong and can protect the younger brother. Hazuki Sujetsu corresponds to Uchiha Sasuke, Hazuki Mainjutsu corresponds to Uchiha Itachi, and Kishimoto Masashi corresponds to Kishimoto Shishi. Yes, this is his biological brother. Kishimoto Masashi especially likes to depict brothers who appear to be hostile, but are actually close, and Kishimoto Shishi also has similar attributes. I heard that in his comics, the younger brother is stronger. So I set Hazuki Mainjutsu to be quite strong, a little weaker than Uchiha Itachi, and similar to Hashigaki Kisame. After all, Hazuki Mainjutsu died young, so we can only use Kishimoto's attributes of brother control and eldest brother arrogance. Chapter 44 A person whose ambition does not match his strength. The thing that Mainjutsu Hazuki is most dissatisfied with his younger brother Sujetsu Hazuki is that Sujetsu Hazuki actually aims to surpass Zabuza Momochi. Mainjutsu Hazuki believes that as long as Sujetsu Hazuki inherits a ninja sword, his strength should be able to surpass Zabuza Momochi. This goal is simply shameful. Although this is a truth, it is a bit inappropriate to say it in this occasion, because the other party mentioned by Mainjutsu Hazuki is still at the scene. Zabuza Momochi was still relying on the mist hidden technique to fight with Hashigaki Kisame. After hearing what Mainjutsu Hazuki said, he finally couldn't help but said, hey, Mainjutsu Hazuki, what do you mean? I got you. Before Mainjutsu Hazuki could respond, Hashigaki Kisame grinned, and the handle of the Sumehada sword in his hand stretched out and flew to a position in the fog. Sumehada flying chain slash. Arsehole. Zabuza Momochi didn't have a beheading sword in his hand, so he could only watch as the Sumehada sword chopped him out of the fog. He fell to the ground in embarrassment, spitting out a mouthful of blood foam. There was a hint of embarrassment in the air. Hazuki Mainjutsu looked at this scene, spread his hands helplessly and said, I'm sorry, senior's abuser. I have no intention of offending you, but your strength is indeed a bit poor. Momochi's abuser glared at him fiercely, then looked at the beheading sword with only the handle left on the ground, and cursed coldly, it was you, little brat, who borrowed my beheading sword. Hazuki Mainjutsu retorted, even if senior's abuser has a beheading sword, the probability of defeating senior Kisame will not exceed 30%, right? Arsehole. I'm just stating the facts. Little brat, do you think I can't kill you? Even if I don't have the flounder, senior's abuser's chance of defeating me is very low. With just a few words, the fragile alliance between Hazuki Mainjutsu and Momochi's abuser was broken, and the two men quarreled impatiently. Stop arguing. Uehara Naraku interrupted them impatiently, looked around at everyone present, and stopped his gaze on Mainjutsu Hazuki and Zabuza. You two have already lost. Do you choose to join Akatsuki with me, or let me bury your bodies in your hometown? Everyone present knew that abuser Momochi and main Jetsu Hazuki no longer had the power to choose. The only choice they could make was to surrender gracefully. Momochi's abuser wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, snorted coldly and said, "My goal is to kill Yagura and end the Blood Mist Village. Anyway, now that the goal has been achieved, let's go with you to the organization," called Akatsuki to take a look. This was a very tactful statement. Unlike abuser Momochi, main Jetsu Hazuki was carefree. He directly put forward his own request. "If you can do as you said, and let Sujetsu revitalize the Hazuki clan, no matter what you ask me to do, I will agree to it." Okay. Uehara Naraku could hardly hold back the smile on his face. He did not take on too much responsibility. He just said, "If your brother is really the kind of loser who can't even be helped, Sujetsu's talent is stronger than mine." Main Jetsu Hazuki confidently promised, as long as he can be guided, Sujetsu will definitely surpass all the predecessors and become the strongest ninja in the Hazuki clan. It would have been better if he didn't say it. Once he said it, Uehara felt a little unsure, because Uehara knew very well that there was no strong bloodline in the Hazuki clan, and the ninja world was a world that valued bloodline theory, except for the Liver Emperor in Konoha. Uehara Naraku sighed, looked at Hazuki main Jetsu and said, "Then try my method for now, and the rest depends on fate. At least you can set a more ambitious goal for your brother, and let him try his best to catch up with his brother." "I know." Hazuki main Jetsu gritted his teeth, as if he had made up his mind. This year, his younger brother Hazuki Sujetsu is already 8 years old. He has performed very well in the ninja school of the Hidden Mist Village, and can even apply for early graduation. Hazuki main Jetsu has always been very worried. If he can't guide Sujetsu well, he will probably never make progress and go the wrong way of Momochi's abuser. This can't be said now, otherwise it's afraid that someone will die. Uehara Naraku turned over and sat on a tree trunk. "Since you surrender to me sincerely, then I will accept it with great mercy." Hearing Uehara's words, Momochi's abuser and Hazuki main Jetsu's faces darkened visibly. The guy they are going to surrender to is so powerful that it is simply terrifying. His IQ is also so low that it is terrifying. At this moment, Uehara Naraku's face was not very good. He looked at main Jetsu with some helplessness because he got the worst defeat reward ever. Side quest, defeat main Jetsu, 1/1, reward 100 gold coins. Main Jetsu is obviously a very powerful ninja. Uehara believes that it is even more difficult for others to defeat main Jetsu than to defeat the 4th Mizukage. Perhaps because main Jetsu died young and had too few roles in the ninja world, not many people paid attention to him, so the system directly issued the minimum task reward. Is this really a beggar? However, the reward for defeating main Jetsu is not just 100 gold coins, because Uehara Naraku saw the completion of another task. Side quest, defeat the 7 ninja swordsmen, 6/7. The reward is unknown. Uehara did not expect that the task of defeating the 7 ninja swordsmen on the system panel was directly counted as 4 heads, because main Jetsu held 4 ninja swords in his hand. The last member of the 7 ninja swordsmen that needs to be defeated in this side quest should be the Kuroki Reiga mentioned by Hoshigaki Kisame, the first generation of the 7 ninja swordsmen who defected with the Thunderblade Gap. When Uehara saw another quest by the way, his eyelids couldn't help but tremble, and his expression was a little unhappy. Side quest, have 3 subordinates, 2/3. The reward is unknown. Now the 3 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist Village are nominally Uehara's subordinates. Hoshigaki Kisame is the first ninja who chooses to be loyal to him, so what about the second one? No, it should be said that Momochi's abuser and Hazuki main Jetsu in front of him, who doesn't really want to surrender to him. Uehara Naraku is not particularly concerned about who the second subordinate who surrenders to him sincerely is. What he really cares about is who is the person who refuses to surrender sincerely. This is actually very easy to find out, because Uehara Naraku saw the last quest. Side quest, have 2 subordinates with chakra power of cage level. The task has been completed, and the reward is 1000 gold coins. This mission directly proves that the second person who chose to join Uehara Naraku was a ninja with cage level chakra. Is there any need to think about this? Who is the weakest here? Naraku's eyes swept across Maingetsu Hazuki, and he couldn't help but admire in his heart. He is worthy of being a person that even Hoshigaki Kisame can't see through. Maingetsu Hazuki, who has cage level chakra at the age of 13. No wonder he died so early, because if he was alive, he would definitely steal the show. Naraku's eyes slowly stopped on Zabuza Momochi. Zabuza Momochi has always had his own ambitions. He also has strength that does not match his ambitions. Uehara tilted his head and looked at Zabuza Momochi. Should he take him back as a supplement, or just dig a hole on the spot and bury him? Chapter 45. Internal strife breaks out right after surrender. Kid, your eyes are dangerous. Momochi's abuser saw Naraku's eyes, and his heart was alarmed. He subconsciously reached out to touch the kunai on his waist. Why did Naraku look at him with such a dangerous look for no reason, as if he wanted to bury him in the ground at any time? No. Naraku shook his head, retracted his gaze, looked at the body of Yagura on the ground, and said softly, I was just thinking about who should be blamed for the trouble of killing the fourth Mizukage. It just so happens that your ideal just now was to kill Yagura, right? Are you still afraid of these? Momochi's abuser looked at him contemptuously and said coldly, if you are worried about the pursuit of the hidden mist village, I can tell others that I killed Yagura. Just as Naraku expected, Momochi's abuser verbally chose to obey Naraku, and naturally he was unwilling to accept a little kid as his new boss. As for killing the fourth Mizukage, it was not a trouble for Momochi's abuser, and it was even very useful. Because Yagura turned the Kirigakure into the Blood Mist Village, his reputation in the Kirigakure has always been bad. Many ninjas are afraid of his status as the Mizukage and his powerful strength, and hate the Blood Mist policy he implemented. In the eyes of these people, Momochi's abuser will be a real hero. Naraku also thought of this, smiled at Momochi's abuser and nodded, saying, this is not just a trouble. When the news of your killing Yagura spreads, there will be many ninjas in the Kirigakure who secretly support you, right? Humph. Momochi's abuser snorted and did not answer. He did not expect that his little thoughts would be exposed by Naraku so quickly. To be honest, he really planned to return to the Land of Water in the future with the title of killing Yagura and lifting the Blood Mist Village, and perhaps he could secretly control the power of the Kirigakure. Naraku did not care about this. Hoshigaki Kisame did not care either. Among the people present, only he and Uehara knew that Yagura was just a puppet controlled by someone. Lord Uehara. Hazuki Maingetsu frowned, looked at Zabuza Momochi with some displeasure, and whispered, if Zabuza carries too much, will it affect our plan? Sujetsu now admires his beheading sword. Naraku asked with a puzzled look on his face, what do you mean? Why not kill Zabuza Momochi? Hazuki Maingetsu was full of murderous aura, with a fierce posture on his sharp little teeth, and said coldly, it just so happens that I can also use the beheading sword. Asshole, do you think you can kill me? Senior's abuser, this is not a difficult thing. The two loose former allies quarreled again. Uehara didn't know whether Hazuki Maingetsu was jealous of Zabuza's position in Sujetsu Hazuki's heart, or wanted the beheading sword in his hand. But he was so anxious to attack his companions. The average moral limit of the 7 ninja swordsmen was a bit low. Only Hoshigaki Kisame was trustworthy. Okay. Hoshigaki Kisame kicked the beheading sword, which only had the handle left, in front of Zabuza and chuckled. Zabuza, go and fix your ninja sword, and pick up the body of the Mizukage. Lord Uehara, where are we going next? The Hidden Mist Village. Naraku glanced at everyone, and ordered in a deep voice, Zabuza, go and announce to the Hidden Mist Village that you killed the 4th Mizukage. Maingetsu Hazuki, go and arrange your own affairs. Kisame and I will wait for you outside the Hidden Mist Village tonight. Got it? Understood. Momochi's abuser and Maingetsu Hazuki each agreed and disappeared in front of Naraku in an instant, leaving only Hoshigaki Kisame standing behind him. Hoshigaki Kisame looked at Naraku's back and praised him. The power that Lord Uehara showed today seems to have become stronger. Are you okay? Naraku was embarrassed to admit that he was a cheater. An honest man like Hoshigaki Kisame could not understand the existence of cheaters. Of course, it was difficult for him to understand the hard-working emperor in the ninja world. Hoshigaki Kisame smiled, thinking that Uehara was just being modest, and continued with his words. As Lord Uehara gets older, he will become even stronger in the future, and perhaps he will be able to surpass the ninja demigod of the Hidden Rain village in the future. Hanzo of the Salamander? Uehara Naraku couldn't help laughing and said, "Hey, Kisame, you are using him as an example, to mock me for not being strong enough." Hoshigaki Kisame smiled, and shook his head, then said seriously, "No, Lord's power is beyond my cognition. I don't know what that guy named Uchiha Obito is thinking. He actually dares to be an enemy of Lord Uehara." Him? Uehara Naraku heard Kisame's words, and whispered, "Kisame, don't underestimate him, just because he is not the real Uchiha Madara. To some extent, Uchiha Obito is much more difficult to deal with than Uchiha Madara." "Is that so?" Hoshigaki Kisame pondered for a while, and suddenly laughed. "I think I know how to regain his trust. But how should I explain that Lord Uehara is willing to spare my life?" Uehara Naraku thought for a while, and found a reason. "Just think of me as an intern who is working hard to become a formal member of Akatsuki. After all, my mission to the Land of Water is to recruit you to join Akatsuki. Understood?" Hoshigaki Kisame grinned. "Let's go, and pick someone up first." Uehara Naraku remembered that he had arranged for Haku to wait for Zabuza to pick him up. Now that he didn't need to pick up Momochi's Zabuza, he naturally had to take Haku with him. Uehara thought that the trip to the Land of Water was going smoothly. He had done everything he wanted to do, and even a little more. The only trouble was, where was Uchiha Obito? That guy wouldn't have been chasing Hatake Kakashi, right? Uehara Naraku guessed correctly. Uchiha Obito had indeed been chasing Hatake Kakashi and Karin before. It was getting dark. Kakashi, Hatake and Karin hid in the forest outside the Hidden Mist village. Kakashi believed that Uchiha Obito must still be near the Hidden Mist village, planning revenge for Rin. Karin believed that Uchiha Obito was a conspirator who must want to kill them, and kept persuading Kakashi to flee the Land of Water. However, how could Kakashi Hatake, who wanted to get the truth from Uchiha Obito and bring him back to Konoha, give up? He analyzed the information he got from Karin and felt that his best friend's IQ had improved a lot. Can people really grow up? Karin pushed Kakashi's shoulder, pointed to the Hidden Mist village with flames everywhere at the foot of the mountain, and shouted, "Kakashi, something seems to have happened in the Hidden Mist village." The sound of fighting in the village even reached the mountain. Kakashi Hatake's expression suddenly became nervous. Regardless of his injuries, he was going to the Hidden Mist village to explore intelligence. It might be Obito who did it. "I must go and see. He will kill you." Karin grabbed his arm. Hatake Kakashi was silent for a while, and then he slowly broke free from Karin's arms, lowered his head and said, "Even if Obito wants to kill me, I will get the truth from him. Even if Obito refused to return to the village because of Rin's death, then why did he kill Minato and his wife? Thanks to the reward from Big Brother, Master was captured by a monster. Thanks to Metaverse 27 for the reward. 100 points a day, happy every day." Chapter 46. 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen defected overnight. There was a fishy smell in the air. The fighting in the Hidden Mist village shocked many people. The 4th Mizukage Yagura and the 7 ninja swordsmen were not in the village, which directly led to the loss of the Hidden Mist village. A group of ninjas holding bone spurs rushed in and killed. This group of ninjas came from the Kaguya clan of the Land of Water. They have the bloodline of the corpse bone vein and a cruel and bloodthirsty nature. They have always wanted to capture the Hidden Mist village. It is no accident that the Kaguya clan launched a large-scale attack on the Hidden Mist village tonight. Before they received the news that the 4th Mizukage Yagura was seriously injured by Uchiha Itachi, tonight they received the information that the 4th Mizukage Yagura was assassinated. The patriarch of the Kaguya clan finally couldn't hold back and led the entire clan to launch an attack on the Hidden Mist village. However, the attack of the Kaguya clan was soon blocked, and King quickly organized the ninjas in the village to strangle the Kaguya clan. Faced with the huge number of ninjas in the Hidden Mist village, the Kaguya clan, which had only a few hundred people, could not win at all, and even couldn't break through in the end. The entire Kaguya clan was soon killed by the Kirigakure ninjas. Except for a little guy named Kaguya Kimimaro, the bodies of all the ninjas of the Kaguya clan were piled together. The Kirigakure ninjas finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just when the Kirigakure ninjas were about to bury these bodies, another short body fell on the pile of bodies like a rag. The Kirigakure ninjas were still a little surprised. When they looked at the short body carefully, their faces changed drastically, and they screamed in panic. Lord Mizukage. It's the fourth Hokage. Someone killed Lord Mizukage. Go and report to the Elder Yuanshi that someone killed Lord Mizukage. Regardless of whether the Kirigakure ninjas support or resist the blood mist policy, whether they respect or hate the fourth Hokage Mizukage, Yagura is the leader of the Kirigakure village after all. However, the body of this Mizukage was thrown out and thrown in front of a group of Kirigakure ninjas, which undoubtedly made every Kirigakure ninja angry. Is this humiliating them? Shut up and stop making so much noise. A cold voice interrupted the noise of the mist ninjas. Zabuza Momochi jumped onto a pile of corpses, picked up the beheading sword in his hand, and stabbed Yagura's body. He said coldly, I killed Yagura. Do you have any objections? Sir Zabuza. Sir Zabuza, that was Lord Mizukage. Sir Zabuza, why did you kill Mizukage? Hearing the questioning of a group of mist ninjas, Zabuza Momochi glanced at the group around him, scratched his ears and said, because I hate this village full of blood mist, so I killed Yagura, the waste. Zabuza. A blue-haired ninja broke through the crowd's obstruction, looked up at Zabuza Momochi on the pile of corpses, gritted his teeth and said, do you want to defect? Yes. Zabuza Momochi sneered, looked at the ninja who questioned him, and suddenly asked back, Ayo, the brainless monsters of the Hyuga clan attacked the village. Who do you think leaked the news to them? This news was indeed sent by Zabuza Momochi. And before Zabuza Momochi assassinated the fourth Mizukage Yagura, he leaked the news of Yagura's assassination to the Kaguya clan, mainly so that he could successfully escape the pursuit of the Mist Ninja after the assassination failed. It doesn't matter now. The attack of this group of Kaguya clan ninjas just made the Mist Ninjas gather together, allowing Zabuza Momochi to announce his successful assassination of Yagura in a high-profile manner. As for whether he can escape successfully afterwards, there is also a defected ninja swordsman 7 in the village, who is about to explode, and there are Uehara Naraku and Hoshigaki Kisame outside the village to support him. You leaked the news? King's face suddenly changed. He clenched his fists and shouted, all ninjas, come with me to catch Momochi's abuser. Never allow this guy to escape from Kirigakure. Humph, just you? Momochi's abuser looked at the people below with contempt, jumped to a tall building, and shouted, King, do you think I'm the only one who defected? As soon as Zabuza finished speaking, the turbulent river water suddenly rushed in from a tall building, instantly destroying all the Kirigakure ninjas. Taking advantage of the opportunity created by someone, Momochi's abuser quickly disappeared from the sight of many Kirigakure ninjas, and fled from his hometown. And the tall building that released the water escape ninjutsu. Mainjutsu Hazuki stood by the window, retracted his fingers from the seal, turned his head and whispered, Senior Terumi Mei, after I left the village, Shuai was taken care of by you. Does it have to be like this? Mei Terumi lowered her head and looked at the unconscious Mainjutsu Hazuki in her arms and continued in a low voice, if you do this, he will hate you for the rest of his life, right? Mainjutsu Hazuki suddenly dragged her here, handed over the unconscious Mainjutsu Hazuki to her, and revealed his plan of defection in the name of defection, but actually of espionage. Since all the plans have been made, and her brother has been ravaged, Mainjutsu Hazuki's defection is actually a foregone conclusion. Things can't be turned back. Mainjutsu shook his head and whispered, for the safety of Kirigakure, I must join that evil organization and find out who is behind Zabuza Momochi's assassination of the Mizukage. I will try to deliver important intelligence about the Land of Water to you in the future. I see. Mei Terumi sighed, and then said seriously, then tomorrow I will apply to Master Yuanshi to issue an S-level traitor wanted order for you and Zabuza. In that organization, you must pay attention to protecting your own safety. Yes. Mainjutsu bowed respectfully and added, by the way, Mei Terumi, and there is also an S-level traitor wanted order for Kisame Hoshigaki. Mei Terumi, whose face was not very good to begin with, looked even uglier at this moment. She raised her head in shock and said, wait, did Kisame Hoshigaki defect as well? What's going on? The second generation of the 7 ninja swordsmen of Kirigakure, which was reorganized in Kirigakure, only has 3 people. Now they all defected overnight? What the hell is going on? Meditarumi is not feeling well. Can the 7 ninja swordsmen be declared disbanded? Maingetsu Hazuki pondered for a while before organizing his words. I suspect that Ashigaki may have become a member of that evil organization a long time ago and has been secretly instigating the Mizukichi to massacre ninjas from the same village. I will find a way to find out about this matter. Meditarumi clenched her fists tightly, her nails almost digging into her flesh. Her body stiffened for a moment before she said helplessly, I know, you should leave here first. The people in the village should start hunting you down. When we have the power to destroy that evil organization, I will find a way to resolve the matter between you brothers. Yes. Maingetsu Hazuki disappeared in front of Meditarumi in an instant. After leaving the hidden mist village, Maingetsu Hazuki couldn't help but feel a little emotional. The new boss he joined really understood Meditarumi. When the brown-haired beauty heard his half-true half-false plan, she not only agreed to take care of Gui Deng Shuyu, but also tried to mediate for him in the future. Gui Deng Manu felt a little guilty. Please recommend and reward. Thanks to Aka's bizarre adventure for the reward. Chapter 47 Kaguya Kunmero. Do you want to go pick up trash together? The sound of fighting in the hidden mist village disappeared. Hatake Kakashi didn't have time to rush over to search for Uchiha Obito's traces because he and Karin happened to meet another person who blocked their way. Hatake Kakashi protected Karin behind him, held his ninja sword tightly, and looked at the ninja who blocked their way with vigilance. Orochimaru. What a coincidence, Kakashi-kun. Orochimaru couldn't help but smile. Since he completed his own reincarnation and defected from the Akatsuki organization, he began to search for a suitable container in the ninja world. Therefore, he used Shimura Danzo to send Kabuto Yakushi back to Konoha and let Kabuto Yakushi find some young genius ninjas by participating in the Chunin exams. In addition, Orochimaru himself also rushed to the Land of Water, wanting to find some boys with bloodline limits here. Orochimaru would naturally not miss the excitement of the hidden mist village today. It happened that Orochimaru also met a boy who was suitable for reincarnation container because the boy's eyes were likable and he also had the corpse bloodline. If this boy with the corpse vein could fight his way out of the hidden mist village and come back alive, Orochimaru planned to take him back to his base as a backup container. As a result, when Orochimaru was waiting here, he actually saw Hatake Kakashi appearing near the hidden mist village. This incident made a lot of noise. When he was away from home, it was rare to see a ninja from his hometown. Orochimaru felt that it seemed unreasonable not to say hello. Orochimaru looked at Hatake Kakashi and Karin behind him, and remembered that Kakashi had saved Yamato in front of him. A smile flashed in his eyes. Oh, Kakashi-kun, did you save someone again? Hatake Kakashi ignored him, with sweat on his face, and asked nervously, Orochimaru, why are you in the Land of Water now? Shouldn't I be the one to ask Kakashi this question? Orochimaru spread his hands and said slowly, this is the Land of Water. It shouldn't be a place where Konoha ninjas should appear. Hatake Kakashi stared at his movements. His heart sank, and he reached out to push his ninja forehead guard. No matter which country this is, I can't let you go anymore. After encountering the most dangerous rebel ninja in the village, this man is simply his inner demon. Since Orochimaru defected, Hatake Kakashi has been tracking his whereabouts. He encountered many things in the process, which made Kakashi even more disgusted with Orochimaru. Shouldn't Itachi be the most dangerous rebel in the village? Orochimaru burst out laughing, staring at Hatake Kakashi and said, if we fight here, it will attract the Miss Ninja. I don't care, but the little girl behind Kakashi-kun will have a hard time surviving, right? Hatake Kakashi was silent. Because Karin saved him before, he certainly couldn't abandon Karin and fight desperately, so he could only passively be cautious. Now for Karin, Kakashi must find a way to escape first. Orochimaru seemed to have noticed Kakashi's thoughts, and said with a smile, don't worry, I won't do anything to you here. Before the container I want returns, why don't you stay here and chat with me? Hatake Kakashi. Orochimaru is still that psychopath. One of them is a Konoha ninja and the other is a Konoha rebel. How can they chat peacefully in such a dangerous place near the hidden mist village? Orochimaru glanced at Kakashi and continued to look at the Kirigakure village, which was gradually becoming peaceful. It seemed that the boy he wanted to take away had no chance to come back. Orochimaru didn't know that the container he had been thinking about was here in Uehara. Uehara, Naraku and Hoshigaki Kasame first received Haku, and then met Momochi's abuser and main Jetsu outside the Kirigakure village. However, they also met another white-haired boy who took advantage of the chaos to escape from the Kirigakure village. The boy held a bone spear tightly in his hand and looked at the large group of people nervously. Uehara Naraku frowned, looked at the boy who looked familiar in front of him, and asked in a low voice, was it the Kaguya clan that attacked the Hidden Mist village just now? Yes. Momochi's abuser nodded, sneered at the white-haired boy. Is this kid a fish that escaped from the Kaguya clan? Let me kill him. When the white-haired boy heard what Momochi's abuser said, his face changed color, and he rushed up first with the bone spear in his hand. It was really far from enough to defeat Momochi's abuser with his strength, not to mention that he had just come out of the Hidden Mist village, and his physical strength and chakra were far from enough. Momochi's abuser quickly cut off the bone spear of the white-haired boy with a beheading sword, and raised his hand to behead him with a knife. Wait. Uehara Naraku stopped Momochi's abuser, walked to the side of the white-haired boy, and asked, what's your name? Kaguya Kimimaro. The white-haired boy seemed to speak very little, and spoke a little slowly. Uehara Naraku's eyes lit up. He didn't expect to meet Kaguya Kimimaro when he was about to leave the Land of Water. He thought Kimimaro had been taken away by Orochimaru a long time ago. Uehara Naraku looked at the white-haired boy and whispered, now all your clansmen have died in the Hidden Mist village. Where are you going? Kaguya Kimimaro lowered his head and hesitated for a while before answering in a low voice, I don't know. Now, I have nothing. Kaguya Kimimaro had always lived alone in his clan and was imprisoned as a weapon by his clansmen. However, Kimimaro always believed that the cage that imprisoned him was his home, and the clansmen who were responsible for guarding him were also his family. Now all the Kaguya clansmen have died in the Hidden Mist village. Kaguya Kimimaro has gained freedom, but has lost everything, even the meaning of living. Uehara Naraku thought of Kaguya Kimimaro's short life and the blood disease he had, and subconsciously said, you are not completely penniless, you still have a disease, right? As soon as he said this, Uehara Naraku regretted it. When everyone heard what Uehara Naraku said, they all cast doubtful eyes on him. What kind of devilish words were these? Kaguya Kimimaro's reaction was different from this. He looked at Uehara Naraku in astonishment. How did you know that? Uehara Naraku looked a little embarrassed. Fortunately, Bei next to Uehara Naraku pulled his arm, fearing that he would say something inappropriate again. As a street kid from the Land of Water, Bei understood Kaguya Kimimaro. He looked at Kaguya Kimimaro and invited him. Kimimaro, you can come with me and Uehara. We can go to the garbage dump to pick up food together and make money together to live. The confusion in Kaguya Kimimaro's eyes gradually faded, and he looked at Bei with a little more heat and said, can I stay with you? Bei, who looks quite cute, is really quite friendly. At least when Kimimaro sees Bei's appearance, he will trust him. Of course. Bei, who was about to answer, stopped and turned to look at Uehara Naraku. Uehara, can we take Kimimaro with us when we leave here? Fortunately, he still knew who was in charge of this team. Uehara Naraku was silent for a while, sighed and said, of course, but don't say that we live in the garbage dump in the future. Please recommend and reward. Thank you for the reward from Metaverse 27. Thank you for the reward from Hog Rider Ann. Chapter 48 Orochimaru appears. Uehara Naraku glanced at his team, 3 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen, 2 burdens with bloodlines, and one of them was a seriously ill patient. Uehara Naraku looked at Kaguya Kimimaro and asked softly, did you see any strange people on the way here? For example, someone with a pair of snake eyes. There is an unwritten law in the ninja world. Wherever those displaced talented teenagers are, the ninja world's #1 human trafficker Orochimaru will appear. He will ride a big brown snake and kidnap these children. Yes. After Kaguya Kimimaro gave the answer, he lowered his head and recalled for a while and began to describe the man's appearance with his limited language. That person is very strong, stronger than many people I have seen, and he is also good looking. Uehara Naraku was a little dazed. Is this really Orochimaru? Why use good looking to describe Orochimaru? Has he changed from a snake uncle to a snake aunt? Kaguya Kunmero continued to add, I remember that person said before that, if I can come back alive, he will take me away from here. Uehara Naraku smiled and nodded, then let's go and see. I also want to know what the meaning of life is in his mouth. If he can meet Orochimaru, he can take back Orochimaru's void ring by the way, because that ring symbolizes the identity of an official member of the Akatsuki organization, and he can also use the void ring to perform the illusion body technique. Uehara Naraku rubbed his hands when he thought about returning to the Akatsuki base with 3 ninja swordsmen and the void ring. After returning this time, maybe he can become a formal member and wear the Akatsuki red cloud black robe. As for nail polish, which is so charming, it is better not to apply it. Uehara Naraku wanted to put on the red cloud black robe, not only because it made him look more handsome, but also because there was a corresponding side quest. According to Uehara's understanding of his peers, there must be many two-dimensional enthusiasts who want to wear red cloud black robes, and the reward must be very generous. Unfortunately, Konan hopes that Uehara will have a bright future, and doesn't want Uehara to get involved in the current affairs of the Akatsuki organization. Every time Uehara and Konan mentioned Akatsuki, Konan's implicit meaning was to let him stay away from the members of Akatsuki. This is the sequel of overacting. Uehara Naraku's identity and the talent he showed directly made Konan want to train him to become the successor of the Dawn. However, Uehara Naraku just wanted to play the nesting doll game secretly, in the forest outside the hidden mist village. With Kaguya Kimimaro as the guide, Uehara Naraku and his party quickly found Orochimaru, as well as Hatake Kakashi and Karin who were still in a stalemate. When Orochimaru turned around and saw Kaguya Kimimaro, he couldn't help but smile. It seems that the alternative container I want to get is back alive. The next moment, the smile on Orochimaru's face gradually became stiff. Because there were a few more people behind Kaguya Kimimaro, it was obvious that this kid was not here to join him, but to lead people to deal with him. 3 of the men stood at the end of the team, each carrying a strange-looking ninja sword on their backs. They were Zabuza Momochi, Maingetsu Hazuki and Kisame Hoshigaki, the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist Village. Orochimaru had also heard of these people. Just when Orochimaru wanted to say something, a childish voice came out, look at our senior carefully. This is Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas of Konoha. You can't see him normally. Orochimaru's face couldn't help but darken. Who said this here? Did the words mean to treat him like a monkey? Zabuza Momochi and Maingetsu Hazuki gave up their positions and stood up with Uehara Naraku. Seeing this scene, Orochimaru's eyes tightened. He had recognized Uehara Naraku as one of the only 2 interns in the Akatsuki organization. Especially Uehara Naraku was the youngest member of the Akatsuki organization. Orochimaru still had some impression of him. Uehara Naraku walked in front of the crowd, his eyes fixed on Orochimaru. The smile on his face faded a little bit and turned into a fierce face after seeing the demeanor of the senior. The next step is to treat this senior in the ninja world well. Orochimaru's eyes flashed with anger, and he looked at Uehara Naraku with a sneer on his face. A mere brat, you think you are qualified? Senior Orochimaru. Uehara Naraku interrupted Orochimaru's words. You were defeated by someone with a look. What qualifications do you have to speak nonsense in front of me? Do you think I'm easier to bully than others? Uehara himself summed up the way to get along with a strong enemy, that is to desperately poke his scars and lower his prestige. In this way, Uehara's own momentum will rise relatively. Damn brat. Orochimaru was defeated by Uchiha Itachi with a look, which was the thing he hated most during this period, so he also became heavily obsessed with the power of Sharingan. Otherwise, he would not have taken the initiative to block Kakashi. However, as a ninja who has experienced many battles, Orochimaru has a good psychological quality. He just cursed with a gloomy face, and then restored the smile on his face. Forget it. After all, I still have to thank you for sending the person I want back. Are you too old and can't see the situation clearly? Uehara Naraku looked at Orochimaru and Hatake Kakashi behind him and said, it turns out that Mr. Kakashi from Konoha is here. Hatake Kakashi was a little nervous. When Orochimaru and Uehara Naraku were arguing just now, he couldn't tell the situation and would not speak easily. Kakashi had also seen Uehara use his unique lightning ninjutsu that even the Sharingan could not copy to eliminate many mist ninjas. The boy surrounded by everyone is very powerful, and this boy seems to have a relationship with Obito. Kakashi finally couldn't help asking, "Who are you? What is your relationship with that masked man?" Orochimaru is right next to him, and Kakashi doesn't want to talk about Obito. Uehara Naraku was different. He wanted to forcefully expose the truth. Mr. Kakashi is asking about Senior Rafei. Now I should call him Senior Obito, right? Obito? After hearing this name, Orochimaru's face changed involuntarily. He knew how Kakashi got the Sharingan. Orochimaru glanced at Kakashi with a half smile, then glanced at Uehara Naraku and said, "It turns out that funny Rafei is the hero who died in Konoha." Kakashi's expression was a little bit bad. If other people knew about Uchiha Obito, it would be fine, but Orochimaru was a psychopath who liked to get involved in everything. Uehara Naraku didn't care what Kakashi thought, and said to himself, "I don't know why Senior Obito concealed his identity. As for the relationship between him and me," Uehara Naraku hesitated for a while, thinking about how to say it, in order to cause trouble for Uchiha Obito without leaking his own information. "Hanaru has already told me that you two had a big fight." Kakashi frowned and continued to talk about Uchiha Obito and continued softly, "Who are you? There are some secrets that we should not delve into." Uehara Naraku took a deep look at Kakashi and brought the topic back to Uchiha Obito. "If I didn't know the identity of Senior Obito, perhaps there wouldn't be such a big conflict between him and me." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. Why do you talk so much? So, who are you exactly? Kakashi reached out to touch his ninja tool bag and continued softly, "Why does he have to find a way to kill you now that you know his identity?" Uehara Naraku's face didn't look very good. This Kakashi must be a mentally retarded person, right? Why didn't he ask about Obito, but kept asking about his identity? Isn't this making Uehara Naraku grow a heart for making up stories in vain? The reason why Uehara Naraku didn't want to do anything to Kakashi was that he wanted to hide behind the scenes and use Kakashi, who knew Uchiha Obito's identity, to cause some trouble for Uchiha Obito and let everyone know that Obito is still alive. If possible, he also wanted to leak Obito's ability by the way. In this way, how can Uchiha Obito compete with him? And he can also be the mastermind behind the scenes and directly make him out with the identity of Konoha's traitor. It's a pity that Kakashi didn't cooperate. The way this white-haired guy talks is really annoying. Doesn't he understand that it is enough for a person to know a little? If he knows too much, he will be killed. Orochimaru's eyes flashed, and he looked at Uehara Naraku and Kakashi with interest. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind, and he said, "Kakashi-kun, do you need me to introduce you? No one will think you are dumb if you don't speak." Uehara Naraku interrupted Orochimaru coldly, clapped his hands, and ordered the people behind him, "You guys treat Orochimaru well, and spare his life. Understood?" "Yes, Lord Uehara." "Got it, kid." Hashiga Kikisame and others jumped out, each drew out each other's ninja swords, and surrounded and attacked Orochimaru in a V-shaped formation. The 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist Village. Orochimaru's eyes turned back and forth, looking at the 7 ninja swordsmen, and couldn't help but sneered, "Your hands are so long." Senior Orochimaru's hands are even longer. Uehara Naraku glanced at Orochimaru and told Hashiga Kikisame and others, "Don't let him interrupt my communication with Mr. Kakashi." "Yes, I understand." Hashiga Kikisame and main Jetsu Hazumi each waved their ninja swords and rushed forward first. Momochi's abuser snorted coldly and followed closely behind. After seeing Orochimaru being forced back by Hashiga Kikisame and others, Uehara Naraku glanced at Kakashi and the girl beside him, and said softly, "Mr. Kakashi, we hope we can be honest with each other." This Kakashi was a little hesitant. He didn't know much about anything, but he knew that his friend was still alive. The only information he learned from Karen was that Obito wanted to use Karen to control the life of the boy in front of him, and this thing failed. Hatake Kakashi calmed himself down, restrained his cynical look, and put on a negotiation posture of a Konoha. Sorry, I can't disclose the information of the ninjas in the village. After that, Hatake Kakashi continued, but I can tell you that you are in extreme danger now. If you are willing to cooperate with Konoha, tell me all the information, and I will find a way to save your life. This was said in a very official way. Most of the time, Konoha ninjas would talk to people who asked them for help in this way. After understanding the details of the incident, Konoha ninjas would decide whether to help, and the results were often very smooth. Unfortunately, Kakashi met Uehara today. Uehara Naraku couldn't help but curl his lips when he heard this. Hatake Kakashi wanted to get information from him with empty words. Uehara Naraku looked up at the fake Hatake Kakashi and sneered, but your strength is not as good as mine, right? Konoha's copy ninja. I have Konoha behind me. Hatake Kakashi's face was calm, and he continued softly, I know Obito has a conspiracy against you. If we can cooperate, tell me about you, and I can help you defeat his conspiracy. Is that so? Uehara Naraku rubbed his forehead and secretly glanced at Zabuza Momochi, who was fighting fiercely on the other side. He always felt that Kakashi's routine was a little inexplicably familiar. If Uehara really had no power to fight back against Uchiha Obito, if Uehara really didn't understand Hatake Kakashi's strength, maybe Uehara would really believe it. You are really insincere, Mr. Kakashi. Uehara Naraku sighed in disappointment, and he looked at the girl who came out from behind Hatake Kakashi in confusion, because she walked to Kakashi's side and looked directly at Uehara. Karen's eyes trembled slightly, and she looked at Uehara Naraku carefully. Without a sound, she wanted to invade Uehara Naraku's memory. This was her unique skill. Karen could make seals with her eyes, and then use her spiritual secrets to seize the information in the target's brain. She wanted to use this method to help Hatake Kakashi. Unfortunately, she picked the wrong person. The next moment, Uehara Naraku suddenly jumped up and punched Karen in the lower abdomen, knocking the girl who made seals with her eyes away. Hatake Kakashi pulled out a kunai and stopped Uehara Naraku's next move. Hey, what do you mean by this? You should ask her about this. Uehara Naraku ignored Hatake Kakashi's kunai, pointed his finger at Karen, who was lying on the ground, and said indifferently, Mr. Kakashi, your companion's eyes are not right. Karen retorted, I didn't. Shut up. Uehara Naraku interrupted Karen and said with a cold look, do you think I don't know how to make a seal with my eyes? After saying that, Uehara Naraku blinked his eyes suddenly, his eyelashes moved slightly, and a huge wave floated from under his feet out of thin air, rushing towards the position of Hatake Kakashi and Karen. This is his water escape skill, roaring waves. Earth escape, earth flow wall. Hatake Kakashi flew back to Karen's side, put his hands together to make a seal, and released a wall of earth to block them. A cute dog head was carved on the wall. However, the wave under Uehara's feet set off a wave of raging waves, rolling and quickly breaking through the earth wall, and swept Hatake Kakashi and Karen away. Uehara Naraku looked at Hatake Kakashi and Karen, who were blown away by the waves, and said coldly, did you see it? Do you think you are the only one in the whole ninja world who can use the eyes to make seals? However, Karen, who was blown away by the roaring waves in the distance, had no time to answer him. She and Hatake Kakashi were swept away by the waves. Wave after wave of waves hit their bodies, until Hatake Kakashi and Karen were washed into the mountains and forests by the waves. They grabbed a big tree tightly and barely stabilized their bodies. Uehara Naraku's body floated up from thin air, slowly flew to Kakashi and Karen, and said contemptuously, do you think I don't know how to make seals with my eyes? Uehara dropped his body, pinched Karen's cheek with one hand, and continued in a cold voice, idiot, you dare to show off your skills in front of me, and want to explore my memory, who do you think you are, woman? Karen pouted because of his pinch, and looked a little cute. Hatake Kakashi next to him was afraid that something would happen to Karen, so he rushed up, and wanted to save Karen from Uehara. Uehara Naraku moved his palm down, and took the lead to pinch Karen's throat, looking at Hatake Kakashi coldly, Mr. Kakashi, it seems that we don't need to continue talking. Thank you for the reward from Yuanji 27. 100 points a day, happy every day. Thank you for the reward from Hidden in the World and Jiashi 25. Thank you for the reward from Kainai Sichin. Chapter 50. Are you in Konoha also coveting the treasures of our village? There was a flash of hesitation in Kakashi Hatake's eyes, and he first tried to persuade him, don't do anything wrong. You want to get information about Obito, because you are afraid that Obito wants to kill you, right? Uehara Naraku's face changed suddenly. When Hatake Kakashi saw Uehara Naraku's expression, he gradually calmed down and put on a leisurely attitude. Then I advise you to let Karen go, because only I can help you now. After that, in order to ensure the quality of his conversation, Hatake Kakashi even began to praise his old friend. Obito is the most talented ninja in the history of Konoha. Without my help, you will definitely not escape Obito's pursuit. The expression on Uehara Naraku's face collapsed again. He looked at Hatake Kakashi and was speechless. Mr. Kakashi, do you think I look like a fool? Don't be impulsive. Hatake Kakashi saw Uehara's fingers move slightly, fearing that he would kill Karen in an impulse, and repeatedly advised, let go of Karen first, we can discuss it slowly. Uehara Naraku hesitated for a while, but still pinched Karen's neck tightly, and asked in a deep voice, if Senior Rafeli is Obito of your Konohagakure village, he is a spy sent by Konoha, is that right? Hatake Kakashi shook his head violently, and said in a deep voice, it's not like that. Obito is now a traitor in the village. He left the village 12 years ago. I don't believe you. Uehara Naraku gritted his teeth and continued, but whether he is a spy of Konoha or a traitor of Konoha, Konoha must bring him back. That's what I was about to do. Hatake Kakashi immediately agreed and asked, but you have to tell me where he has been active recently, right? Uehara Naraku shook his head and said in confusion, I don't know. Senior Obito just wants me to carry out a mission and lure a ninja from the Hidden Mist village to rebel. I suspect he may have been active in the Land of Water. Hatake Kakashi began to explore for intelligence in a persuasive way. Then why did Obito ask you to lure a Hidden Mist ninja to rebel? Is it because he hates the Hidden Mist village? Why did he let you come? What is your relationship? And you were clearly asked to lure a Hidden Mist ninja to rebel, but you seem to have lured 3 of the 7 ninja swordsmen to rebel. I'm from a small village. Uehara Naraku was silent for a while, cursed Kakashi a few words, and whispered his own story. Because I want to be a person with a higher status in the village, I must complete a very difficult task. Hatake Kakashi felt a little dazed. After listening to Uehara's words, he roughly guessed Uehara's identity. Maybe he was the next leader of some small ninja village? Uehara Naraku checked his words to make sure there were no loopholes, and continued, Senior Rafeli recommended me to the village leader to carry out this mission. My teacher, an elder in the village, did not want me to be in danger, but the leader agreed. I understand. Hatake Kakashi nodded and continued softly, why did the leader of your village agree to such a dangerous suggestion made by Obito? Uehara Naraku gritted his teeth, and a trace of grief and anger appeared on his face. Maybe it's because the village leader doesn't want me to get that position, and Senior Rafeli has a good relationship with the leader. The leader listens to his words. We once suspected that the leader was controlled by illusion, but we couldn't see any clues. Uehara Naraku slowly lowered his head, looking sad, and said, in fact, before me, Senior Rafeli was the only one in the village who could get that position, but later This was said very obscurely. In a sense, it was not wrong. After all, there are only 2 trainees in Akatsuki, Uehara Naraku and Uchiha Obito, and both of them want to become official members of Akatsuki on the surface. And even if Hatake Kakashi confronts Uchiha Obito in the future, will Obito take the initiative to leak Akatsuki's information? I have roughly understood what you mean. Hatake Kakashi sighed in his heart, and in the evasive and mixed words of Uehara Naraku, combined with the information he knew, he began to analyze the information he got. More than a decade ago, in the Battle of Kanabi Bridge, Uchiha Obito did not die in the battle, and I don't know how he escaped from the predicament. Later, Obito witnessed Rin's death in his own hands, and was angry at the pursuit of the Mist Ninja, and has been taking the opportunity to take revenge. Later, Obito joined a small ninja village in order to hide, and used illusion to control the leader of that ninja village. This is not a problem. If Obito's Sharingan pupil power increases greatly, it is not difficult to control the leader of a small ninja village, and even the tailed beast can be controlled. Hatake Kakashi remembered the first time he saw Obito take off his mask, and he personally admitted to killing Minato Namikaze and his wife. Perhaps that thing was true. Since Uchiha Itachi could kill his parents and the entire clan for power, why couldn't Uchiha Obito kill his own teacher? Kakashi Hatake thought he had finished analyzing the intelligence he had obtained and wanted to get the last piece of information. So, sir, which ninja village are you from? Since Uehara Naraku had been hiding his identity, Kakashi Hatake was still a little unwilling, and he added from the side, if I want to take him away from your ninja village, I still need your help in this matter. Mr. Kakashi. Uehara Naraku slowly stood up, looked at Kakashi Hatake and said coldly, don't ask me this question again. I can tell you so much, it's the limit. Even if you see me again in the future, I will not admit that I have leaked the matter of Senior Rafei to you. When saying this, a trace of contempt flashed across Naraku Uehara's face. Excuse me, let the third Hokage of Konoha send someone else to deal with this matter. With Mr. Kakashi's strength, it's a bit lacking. Kakashi Hatake's eyes flashed. The third Hokage of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen, still doesn't know about Uchiha Obito. At least Kakashi doesn't want to tell Sarutobi Hiruzen yet. And once Sarutobi Hiruzen knows, he will only choose to block the news and send someone who is good at dealing with dark troubles. For example, the leader of Konoha Route, Shimura Danzo. Not long ago, the leader of the Route, Shimura Danzo, was inexplicably imprisoned. If he leaks Obito's story now, won't it let Shimura Danzo come back to the fore? You guys go. Uehara Naraku waved his hand, turned and walked towards the battlefield of Orochimaru, Hashigaki Kisame, Hazuki Maingetsu and others. I just met Orochimaru who stole the treasure of our village here. I want to take the treasure back from him. Wait. Hatake Kakashi glanced at Orochimaru and suddenly said, Sir, Orochimaru is a traitor of Konoha. I can also help. Hatake Kakashi. Uehara Naraku turned his head abruptly, looking at Hatake Kakashi with cold eyes, a murderous aura emanating from him. Do the ninjas of Konoha still want to covet the treasures of our ninja village? Get out. Don't force me to kill you. Thanks to bookfriend 2020072410461040 for the reward. Thanks to Chicken Watermelon for the reward. Ha 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 ha. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.